Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome this time to a supernatural evil too monstrous to contemplate, and a spirit that hovers over all, the satyr. In the dictionary definition, a woodland deity represented as part human, part goat, noted for riotousness and lasciviousness. Not so terrifying in concept today, perhaps, but before the turn of the century, the Victorian era...
No, Alfred, no. I'm in my own park. It wasn't me night off, so I've got to sneak in safe and sound without the mistress knowing.
See you Thursday night.
Right, this rain. And keep your hands to yourself. I'm still a decent girl, and that's what I'll stay till I'm married. Now, off you go.
Good night, Millie.
Night.
You'd waste a lover's moon for convention's sake?
Who's that? You look like... Oh, you can't be... Oh, sweet Mary, protect me.
Not against me. There is no protection against me.
Our mystery drama, The Death Wish, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Ann Petoniak and Court Benson. Another definition, just for the record. Another dictionary. Satyriasis. An abnormal sexual desire in men. But our story begins long before the terror of unbridled evil descended on the quiet, well-ordered life of the Haven. The great house was built by a long-deceased ancestor in the early 18th century. And at the time all this begins has changed little in a century and a half. Until a stone cast into its quiet waters from the outside sends ripples of excitement and speculation washing over the Cutler family.
Belinda, come away from the window.
But, Mother, I want to see him drive up in the carriage with Father.
Don't press your nose against the glass. It only means extra work for the servants. Besides, they're not due for at least 15 minutes, even if the train was on time.
I don't see why we have to saddle ourselves with someone extra in the house, particularly a man.
That's just sour grapes, Barbara.
Belinda, come away from the window.
Oh, all right. But won't you please call me Linda?
You were christened Belinda.
I know. Grandmother was Bella. You're Beatrice. My brother is Bruce. My sister is Barbara. And I'm Belinda. Why do we all have to be B's?
Because your grandfather's name was Brian and your father's name is Blake. It's all in the family.
Papa's name was only accidental. The rest was all planned.
Oh, what's in a name, as I've so recently found out?
I'd rather you didn't bring up that subject in front of your young sister.
Linda's nearly 18. For heaven's sakes, Mother.
It isn't as though divorce was a dirty word or something.
Don't delude yourself. In our society, Linda, it's a blot. Disgraceful. Right, Mother?
I prefer not to discuss so intimate a subject openly. And your sister's name is Belinda.
Oh, for God's sake, the old witch isn't alive anymore. Grandmother's done us all the harm she can. The hell with her.
Oh, I don't like swearing either.
And I don't like being without a man and being stuck at home again like a naughty child. I'm afraid we're all going to have to make some adjustments. God, I wish Bruce was here. I hope he knows how lucky he is to be able to get out from under the blanket and away to his internship.
Mama, she doesn't mean anything. She's just so miserable.
I know. I should be more forbearing.
Who is this bird who's going to help feather our cushy nest, anyway?
His name is Anton Gitano.
Oh, it sounds so foreign and terribly romantic.
Well, not really, child. As I understand it, his father was your father's batman during the Crimea.
Batman?
The Army's name for a valet, dear. We can't have our officers fighting wars without their boots shined.
I shouldn't be so sarcastic, Barbara. If it hadn't been for Anton's father, you wouldn't be here, or your brother, or your sister. He saved Blake's life at Gallipoli and very nearly lost his own. He is, or was, just as English as we.
Gitano? Isn't that Spanish?
Well, Blake told me that's a gypsy name. But of course, his family had lived here for generations. I never met him, but he had the most beautiful wife. I remember being quite jealous of...
Excuse me, Mama, but they're here. I can hear the carriage. I can see it. It just came round by the poplars. Oh, he's the most beautiful thing you ever saw, Mama. Like a fawn.
A fawn?
Well, I don't mean he's half man, half, you know.
He certainly is all man, I'll grant you. That aquiline face.
That's what I meant. Like an ancient Roman. Or a Greek god.
All right, that's quite enough nonsense from you both. Now put yourselves together. And for heaven's sakes, compose yourself and greet our guests like ladies. Just be kind and gentle women. After all, the boy's father has been for many years now, and he has just lost his mother.
How long is he expected to stay?
Only till he gets settled down here and finds some employment, I hope. I really don't know. Your father was so strange about him.
What do you mean, Mama?
Well, it's so unlike Blake, but I really couldn't pin him down. I'm not even quite sure if he's a guest or if your father means to give him some work about the grounds or something.
Beatrice, I have our guest with me.
Come in, Blake, dear. We heard you drive up, and we can't wait to meet him.
Hello, my dear. Barbara, Belinda. Ladies, may I present the son of the man who made you all possible in my life, Mr. Anton Gitano.
I'm charmed.
My wife, Beatrice.
How do you do?
Your servant, madam.
My older daughter, Barbara.
A pleasure, Miss Cutler.
Mrs. Trenholm, actually. Ex, since I'm no longer married.
My condolences about your husband.
Oh, he didn't die. I divorced him.
The more fool he for deserving such a fate. And the world is a better place.
Yes, and my youngest, Belinda.
Charmed. I hope I can be sure that you're still unattached and fancy-free.
Belinda isn't even 18 yet.
Anyone so beautiful would have to be. Although she seems so much more mature.
You're very continental. You know just the right things to say.
Do I? Then I am pleased. Because to tell you the truth, I'm shaking in my boots.
You find her so formidable.
Perhaps my butterflies come from being among such a bevy of delightful female companionship. Or that I feel dusty and travel-stained. Would you ladies excuse me if I change and freshen up?
Of course, Anton. May I call you that?
I wish you would.
Very well, then, Anton. We're the ones at fault. We should have given you at least a moment to yourself before plunging you into the family circle. Blake, shall I ring for Jarrett, or will you see Anton to his room?
Jarrett's seeing to the unloading of his baggage right now. I'll show him. Where have you put him?
Well, I thought with Bruce away and so many clucking hens on the second floor, he'd be happier with the third floor almost to himself. The maroon and gold room?
I'll be happy whatever room you put me in. Wherever it is, I'm really an imposition.
Oh, we don't feel that way at all.
Please. I can only hope to repay you for your welcome.
I'll see you up, Anton. Beatrice, ring down and tell Jarrett where to send his luggage.
With your permission, ladies, I shall see you at dinner. And I hope to be a bit more presentable than now.
Yes, I'd like to have a word with you, Beatrice, as soon as I see Anton settled.
Of course, dear.
In the library?
Yes, dear.
Oh, Mother, looks like you're in disfavor.
Oh, did I know the young man would be as charming and educated as he turned out to be?
What difference does that make?
Oh, my dear innocent. Banished to the third floor, practically with the help. I'm afraid Father thinks Mother made a slight social gaffe.
The help are on the fourth floor. And besides, I didn't, and I don't think it appropriate for a single young man to be roaming a floor where two young single females
Oh, really, Mother? What do you expect him to be? Peeping Tom or Ralph the Raper?
Barbara.
I agree with Mother. You're really terrible. He's so polite and so handsome.
But I'll make a confession. I think Mother's instincts are right about this young man. For all his charm, I wouldn't trust him on the same corner with me, let alone around me.
I never heard anything so unreasonable in all my life.
I quite agree with you, Belinda. But you must remember your sister has been terribly hurt. I'm afraid for a while anything in trousers will look to her as though he had horns growing out of his head, hoofs instead of feet, and a long forked tail.
Oh, thank goodness for you, Mama. You keep us all on an even keel. I don't know what we'd do without you.
Well, you're going to have to do without me right now, Belinda. I have to go and face your father.
Well, I don't see why he couldn't have been in the room next to Bruce's.
Well, there's only one bathroom on the floor, dearest, and with both the girls home, I thought there might be some embarrassment about... well, you know, they're not used to a stranger around, and they're not...
Then what?
Well, I'm not quite sure of so many things, Blake. How long will he be here? Just what his position is exactly.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, is he a guest, or do you expect to employ him?
Well, I'm dashed if I know myself, Bee. It's all been so sudden and unexpected. The past rearing its head up like this.
Well, you do owe the boy a great deal after all.
What's that?
Well, his father did save your life, didn't he?
Oh, yes. Yes, at Gallipoli. Carried me out of the water after I was wounded. I'd have drowned otherwise.
I'm so sorry I never met the father to thank him. I do remember his lovely gypsy wife with her great haunting dark eyes. Was he her only child?
Well, I don't know. I suppose. They went back to Spain so shortly after that.
Uh-huh. How did her husband die?
Well, apparently he just disappeared. I haven't got all the facts. Carla, Mrs. Gitano's letter was quite brief. He seems a fine boy.
And very well-mannered. It's going to be a pleasure to put him up till he decides what he wants to do with himself, I'm sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean any harm. Millie, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Gitano?
It isn't difficult. Gitano. It means gypsy in Spanish.
Oh, I knew when I saw you. I should have let the butler bring your things up.
Why? You afraid of a little fun, Millie?
Not exactly, but I have my own steady, Alfred. And I'm a decent girl.
Do you know, Millie, they're the very best sort.
I'll have one of the men bring up the rest of your things.
A wonderful dinner, Mrs. Cutler.
Thank you, Anton.
I think you will understand. I'm exhausted from the journey. Would you excuse me if I just ask to go to bed?
Not at all. As my mother was saying to me just before you arrived, nuestra casa es su casa.
And I'm glad to be so welcome. I shall try to take advantage of it. But tonight
You get on to bed, youngster, like the rest of us. We can all use a good night's sleep. Well, Bee, have you tucked in your little chicks for the night?
Long ago. Barbara and Belinda have been asleep for well over an hour. It's almost midnight.
Well, it's high time for all law-abiding people to be abed. Come on, join me before I fall asleep.
I'm sorry you're tucked away already. It's such a beautiful night. A big, round, full moon. A lover's night. I came to get a sweater. I'm going to take a little stroll in the garden.
Well, I'll get up and get dressed.
Oh, no, darling, you're tired. I won't be long. Just a little turn as far as the court garden. That's good night. Because I know you'll be asleep like the rest of the house by the time I get back.
Now, Alfie, I'm still a decent girl, and that's what I'll stay till I'm married. Now, off you go, Alfie.
Good night, Millie.
Good night.
You'd waste a lover's moon just for convention's sake? Oh, no, Millie.
Who's that? Oh, sweet Mary, protect me.
Not against me. There is no protection against me. Mrs. Cutler, what are you doing here?
I was just taking a stroll before... It's Millie. What have you done? Oh, my Lord. What kind of a man are you?
What indeed has Anton done? And as our story progresses, more and more that question will be asked. What kind of man are you? Not alone by the people in our story, but by you who listen to the strange history that unfolds. I'll return shortly with Act 2. It is no moment for the squeamish, this midnight encounter in the court garden of the great manor named the Haven. The garden itself is surrounded by an 8-foot-high brick wall. The only entrance, the wrought iron gate at which Mrs. Cutler has stopped. The garden itself is evergreen, its paths moss and lichen covered. By the light of day, it is quaint and inviting. By moonlight, it is macabre and forbidding. A fitting setting for the girl stretched limp on the ground and the figure hunched over it.
Anton, is this you?
Unmasked, Mrs. Cutler. I'm afraid so.
And Millie?
She's...
How?
I suggest we go somewhere to talk in private.
But Millie, I must see to her. She may not be...
You may take my word for it that she is... It was an accident because she wasn't intelligent enough to listen to me. But you are going to be, aren't you?
I don't know what you mean, Anton. Or whoever you are.
I'm afraid you do, Mrs. Cutler. I mean, when the police come tomorrow, you're going to forget everything you saw, or thought you saw. After we have our little talk, that is. Otherwise, someone else, much nearer and dearer to you than Millie, will suddenly and unaccountably be just as Millie.
Who? What are you?
My mother's son. She was the gypsy.
But your father...
What father? I never had a father. Just my mother and me.
Well, then how did Blake... why did he take you in?
My mother left me a rather special gift. Shall I show it to you?
Oh, I don't want to see. I don't want to know anymore. I just want to go...
You must!
Oh, you're hurting me.
You'll forget physical pain in a moment. Wait. Ah, there. The moon is out again. Let's see. Yes, he'll do. You see the owl sitting there in the tree? No, there. Straight ahead of you.
Yes, I see him.
Then watch. Owl perched high above my head. Hear you this? I wish you'd... Good Lord. Any living creature. Any time I wish. Your husband, your son, your daughters. If you cross me, I wish them the same. That's why you will remain quiet about anything and everything you have seen in this garden.
It's Blake, dear.
Come in. What time is it?
Well, it's nearly 10 o'clock, Bee.
Oh, good heavens. Now, how could you let me sleep so late?
You seemed absolutely exhausted this morning. I couldn't manage to wake you.
I know. I had a terrible dream. Must have been a dream. Kept me awake till dawn.
What kind of a dream?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about it. 10 o'clock? What are you doing home from business?
Well, there's been a terrible accident.
A what?
I'm afraid the police are here, and they wanted to ask you a question or two.
Me? Why me? What sort of accident?
One of the upstairs maids was found by the gardener in the court garden this morning.
What do you mean, found?
Yes, I'm afraid so. The cheeky, lively little one, Millie, I think her name is.
That it wasn't a dream.
What did you say, Bee?
I said, this is just like a bad dream. Poor little Millie. But why on earth would the police want to see me?
Well, darling, I happened to mention that you took a stroll outside last night about midnight and that you mentioned you were going as far as the court garden.
But I didn't. It was chillier than I thought, so I turned back. What happened?
Well, it's all so strange. Apparently, Millie nipped out of the house last night to meet a boy she knew. Alfred Pinster. He's a local groom at the public stables.
And they think he did it.
Oh, no, he's in the clear. Fortunately for him, the ground in the court garden was damp. There wasn't a trace of his footsteps in there. Only the girls and...
And what else?
Well, what killed the poor child? That vicious billy goat of Tam Pierce's. Apparently it got loose last night and chased Millie into the court garden. I suppose she thought she could close the gates and keep him out, but he got in after her and...
And what?
Well, his hoof marks were all over the place.
Oh.
Even on... Well, he must literally have trampled it to death.
Oh, how terrible.
Yeah. It was a lucky thing for young Alfie, though. Otherwise, it would have looked like a plain case of, to be polite, assault.
That, too. Well, let me get dressed. I really should talk to the police myself.
Well, good morning, Mr. Gypsy.
And to you, Mrs. Trenholm. A victory for accuracy. We both have each other's names correct. You speak Spanish?
Not much, but I looked up Gitano. It rang a chord.
A pleasant one, I hope.
Nothing pleasant about this morning after what happened to poor Millie. I've got to get some fresh air. I'm going for a ride. Excuse me.
Would you allow me to join you?
Suit yourself. But I warn you, in my present mood, I'm somewhat restless.
I accept the challenge.
Challenge?
It was more of that than an invitation, wasn't it?
I'll leave you to make up your own mind about that. Come on, if you're going. I love the view from here. There's the haven away down there to the left.
It's a very large estate. And so near town. It's a priceless property.
I think so, too. But not in terms of money, which is obviously what you meant.
Why don't you like me?
I never said I didn't.
You didn't have to. I can sense it.
Maybe it's because I've been through a bad experience with Trevor. Maybe it's because you're just too charming and too beautiful a man to be quite true. And maybe it's because you're much too young.
Too young for what?
For me.
If that's all that's worrying you...
Oh, for heaven's sake, don't take me literally. I only... Let me go, please, Anton.
Not till I prove to you that I am not a boy.
Very well. You are a man. A big, strong man.
Not quite yet.
Damn it, if you won't let me... You must be crazy.
For you, yes. But a better word is hungry. Just as you are.
Now, really, that's enough.
Don't be silly. We both know it's only the beginning.
Are you conceited enough to think that
Yes, I am. You see that blueberry bush over there?
Yes.
Watch it. I wish you'd...
My God.
You're very fond of your mayor, aren't you? Shall I wish her the same?
No.
Or your father? I can do it, you know.
Who are you?
For the moment, Barbara. Your lover.
You might as well have wished me.
I doubt it. You'll get used to me as a surrogate husband.
I'll kill myself if you ever touch me again.
You do, and I promise your father will die as I killed that bush.
Why us? Your power must be the same anywhere else in the world. Why do you come back to haunt us?
Because my mother ordered me to, and she...
Why do you stop? You mean when she died?
If you want to call it that. I mean, when her time had come.
I don't understand. I don't understand anything. I still ask you, why us?
We do not question the orders of our superiors. Come, let's get back to lunch. I'm ravenous.
But you ride with him almost every day, Barbara. Why can't I go with you sometimes?
Hush, Linda. Stay away from us.
But it isn't fair. You're too old for him anyway.
And you're too young for him. You stay away from him. You hear?
Why, you're jealous, Barbara.
Never mind what I am. Just stay away from him.
I understand, Mrs. Cutler. You've been suggesting to your daughter Barbara that she's seeing too much of me.
Can you blame me?
I also understand that you have even gone so far as to try to persuade Mr. Cutler to send her away.
Please, Anton. Please. Barbara's heart was broken by her divorce. The girl has enough agony to cope with. Don't hurt her anymore.
I have no intention to. In fact, my intentions are quite otherwise. But if you want to protect her, remember the power I have and leave us alone.
Please, Papa, I'm begging you.
Papa, you haven't called me that, Barbara, since you were a little girl.
Well, I'm not that anymore. Can't you? Won't you please send him away?
I can't. I can't do that.
And you know, too. He's like a cancer. Spreading and spreading till he infects and destroys us all. And how can we stop it? We're like puppets. All he has to do is pull the strings, and we have to dance to his command. We've got to stop him somehow, or we'll all be as good as...
Stunned and shocked, Blake Carter stares at a beloved daughter who is emotionally coming to pieces before his very eyes. And yet, in those eyes, can we detect a puzzlement, a bewilderment that suggests he doesn't fully comprehend exactly what she's talking about? We'll find that out when I return shortly with Act 3. It's a lovely English September afternoon. The sun, streaming down from a cloudless sky, throws a dappling of lacy shadows on the bright green lawns as it streams through the trees. From the outside, the great manor seems well named, the Haven. But inside, something dark and insidious is growing, like a black, invisible mushroom, poisoning the atmosphere the Cutlers breathe, threatening their very lives, one by one. In the library, Barbara and her father remain as we left them, facing each other, gripped by emotions not yet fully explained.
What do you mean, as good as...
Let's not fence with each other, Papa. Obviously, you know his power and are as helpless as we are.
Power? I don't understand you.
To kill anything he wants, just by wishing it.
Barbara, I really don't understand what you're saying. What do you mean his power to kill anything he wants to?
Didn't he show you? Did you just take him at his word?
Barbara, come, sit down for a minute. You're shaking all over. What is it, child?
Oh, it's just remembering those first terrible, awful moments. Oh, Papa, he scared me. He really scared me almost to death.
All right, darling. I won't let anything else hurt you if I possibly can. I couldn't help with Trevor, but I can with Anton, whatever it is. Tell me about it. And because of some trick with a bush, he forced you to...
It wasn't any trick. I saw it die with my own eyes. Didn't he give you an example?
Of what?
Of how all he has to do is wish something, and it is.
Oh, you're seeing things, dear. Imagining. You've always had too much of it.
This wasn't imagination. It's cold, stark, brutal reality. But you didn't believe it when he showed you. You thought it was just some kind of trick.
Showed me what, dear? He hasn't showed me anything like that.
Then why did you say you can't send him away?
Darling, don't press it. It's because I have an old debt to repay. Let's leave it at that. But I certainly intend to have a talk with Anton. After what you've told me, I'll sit still for what's happened. I'll just take my chances unless he agrees to marry you.
Marry me?
Well, isn't that what you want?
I wouldn't marry him if... Oh, Lord, I don't know what to do. Just Leave it alone, Papa. Will you please? Let me try to work it out.
But Barbara... Yes, come in.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Am I interrupting anything?
No, not a thing. Come in.
If I'm breaking into family business or something...
I was just leaving. I'll leave you two together. Papa?
Yes?
Leave it to me.
There's nothing for you to worry about, Barbara. I know how to handle myself now.
But I...
Leave it to me, please, and close the door.
I have a feeling I did interrupt something. I'm sorry if I came at a bad time.
You didn't. I want to talk to you.
Well, then I feel better. I wanted to have a talk with you, sir.
Well, I should think it's about time.
So Barbara has been telling tales out of school.
Quite naturally.
I wonder just how much she has revealed and what she expected to gain by it.
Isn't that what you wanted to talk to me about?
Not exactly, sir. The subject I wanted to discuss was money.
I can't imagine why you insisted on dragging me all the way down to the court garden, Barbara. It's never been your favorite spot.
I hate it more than ever now, Mama.
Mama? You haven't called me that since you were...
I need reassurance. I need help. I'm scared to death. I'm clutching at straws, and that's what Father said when I went back to calling him Papa. But if ever we need to stick together as a family, it's now.
Barbara? What is it?
It has to be all or nothing now. Mama, wasn't it right here they found Millie?
Yes.
And wasn't it Anton who killed her?
What do you mean?
You can't deceive me. What did he do? Just point his finger at Millie and say, I wish you... And weren't you out here that night, walking in the gardens as you often do? And didn't you see it? And didn't he threaten you to keep you quiet? Or one or other of us would be as Millie was?
You're barking up the wrong tree, Anton. I haven't any money.
Let's not be foolish, sir. I've looked down on the estate from Cheltham Ridge, and I can see that it's worth a fortune.
Well, that's true enough. But how far do you think you can stretch the repayment of an old debt? Your father saved my life.
That's a lie. I had no father.
Put it as you like. I was willing to open my home to you to try to find you a well-paying job.
I don't want a job. I want the haven and all the land that goes with it.
Impossible. What you already have is my daughter, and I will endow her with what dowry I can.
I don't think you understand, Mr. Blake. I don't want your daughter. Barbara was just an extra bonus, a temporary necessity. What I want is the estate in toto.
Well, then you are due to be disappointed. It isn't mine to give, even if I were so inclined.
Then how can you live here?
Because I did exactly what you want to do. Oh, perhaps not for the same selfish reasons. I married into money. The estate came from my wife's family.
And then I'm wasting my time with you. I'll get it from her.
You're an amazing young man. I can't quite credit you. You seem to be as hard and unprincipled and unyielding as Bertie herself.
Bertie?
A nickname. And I assure you, not a fond one for Bella Chelton, my wife's mother, who willed this estate.
Not to your wife?
No, not to my wife. For reasons you perhaps know, she disapproved of our marriage, nor to my son Bruce.
Barbara?
Bertie didn't believe in divorce.
Ah, then to Linda.
To Belinda, a minor, in trust for 3 more years. So you see, your demands are impossible as well as unreasonable. But that isn't the point.
Of course it is. She's an engaging and nubile youngster, and I know how she feels about me. We can get married right away.
You'd need my consent, and the only way you'd get it is over my body. I'm past recognizing the cost of your threat to me and mine, and I...
Hold up, old man. Whatever Barbara has told you, perhaps you don't recognize or refuse to accept the real cost. Very well. This is the moment of truth. Let's see. What's that?
That's Scout, my retriever. It isn't important now.
Oh, you'd be surprised how important.
Down, boy, down. Sit. Why did you let Scout in?
To wake you up to what you face.
What are you after?
Your promise that your rich little daughter shall be mine, body and estate. Or you start to lose everything you love most. Starting with, what was that asinine name of, oh yes, Scout.
You must be mad.
If you don't accept my proposition, so must you be.
Now, look here. Certainly I knuckled under to you and your mother to save my happiness. But there is an end to compromise. To hell with your cheap threats. I've had enough of you. I'm ready to make my own confession.
To prove my mastery over your master, Scout, I wish you'd...
What have you done?
What I can do to you, or yours, animal, vegetable, human, whatever I decide. Think it over, old man. I'll give you a reasonable time to make up your mind. Let's say till tomorrow night.
You do understand, Papa, now. You do believe.
Yes. But what can we do?
Mother's involved, too. You know that.
She is?
He killed Millie. Mother stumbled on it that night. She went out for a walk. He's got us all involved, except Linda.
Your little sister is no longer immune. He knows the money goes to her. He wants to marry her.
You can stop that.
The one thing I can do. But it's only temporary.
It isn't the only thing we can do.
What else?
Anton enjoys killing things, whatever or whoever they may be. I've already promised to take him grouse hunting tomorrow. Why don't you join us?
Oh, Barbara, I'm in no mood for sporting.
There won't be any sport connected with this. While I keep his attention away from you, shoot him in the back.
A hunting accident?
Why not?
Well, we'd never get away with it.
Of course we can. He's nobody here, and everyone knows who we are, our family. Papa, it's the only way.
You're more of a man than I am, Barbara. All right, we'll do it. Tomorrow morning is the execution.
And nobody ever deserved it more.
I've been looking forward to this. I'm very glad you made up your mind about Linda and me, sir. She's happy, too.
Yes, the only thing to do. I haven't said anything to either of the girls, huh?
No, better not. Might be a little difficult. When do we flush some birds?
I miss old Scout.
I am sorry about that, but I had to prove a point.
I think we have some game.
Where?
This way, towards me.
Coming.
Okay, Dad. Shoot. Shoot.
But there are no birds. Oh.
I can't. No matter what man is, I can't kill him in cold blood. Not this man.
So, it is all in the open.
Then I will. Without compunction. In the back, where he deserves.
Hold it.
Don't turn.
I'll even drop my gun. Fire if you want, Barbara. But I can wish faster than the shot can travel. Or you, Mr. Cutler. I can wish you all, but I'm sure one is enough. The innocent one. The one far away. Your son. Your firstborn. Now I offer you the challenge. Fire if you want. But if any of you wish to stay alive, let me prove my power now and forever. Wherever he is, your son, your firstborn, I wish him...
What happened?
He's dead.
We didn't.
We didn't have to. He killed himself.
How?
There never was a father that saved me at Gallipoli. Only an excuse to try to explain a black-eyed gypsy called Carla, who caught me in her spell and to whom I lost my head, my heart, and my honor. I should say your mother's honor. I've carried the shame of it all these years, till he turned up with that letter from her. Apparently she never told Anton the truth. But he was my firstborn. I didn't want your mother to know.
There are a lot of things about all of us we don't want anyone to know, Papa. And when you said she cast a spell, perhaps you were right. He said himself she was a witch. And look, now, where he's lying.
What do you mean?
I've felt it. Heaven help me. But maybe that's only in my mind. Still, I see him from the waist down, all hair and 2 cloven hooves. It was poor, innocent Linda who first called him a fawn. He was far more evil than that. Thank God he is without life, because what I see lying there is a satyr.
Illusion is belief. Belief is illusion. When the authorities picked up the body from the heath, there was nothing unusual about it. A hunting accident, most regrettable. But luckily there were none to mourn save the Cutlers. We have told you a Gothic tale of ghoulery, which for once ended not in despair, nor perhaps in happiness, but at least in relief and freedom. I'll be back shortly. Mrs. Cutler never learned of her husband's ancient transgression. Barbara married soon after and was a woman who had learned how to make marriage work and thrive. And Belinda finally got her family to call her just simply Linda, which was enough for the moment. She spent a few tears over Anton, who might have been, but being her age was soon adjusted to whatever was to be. A state, as long as it is expectant and hopeful, which is the best any of us at any age can ask for. Our cast included Ann Petoniak, Roberta Maxwell, Jada Rowland, Court Benson, and Michael Zaslow. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall, and I invite you to join me as we journey through a forbidding landscape, peopled with the most demoniacal furies in or out of this world. There is that moment, that imperceptible, unmarked, uncertain moment, when we pass from day to night, and from life to death. And try as we may, we can never isolate that moment. We can never grasp it, hold it, keep it. And somewhere during that moment, only the length of the shortest fraction of a second, the living are separated from the... And yet, it might just as well be as long as all eternity.
Who are you? You know who I am. I'm Bert.
You can't be.
Don't fight it.
But Bert is...
That's right.
Then how can you be standing here talking to me?
I don't know. I'm here, that's all.
What do you want?
I want my wife.
She's my wife.
But first, she had taken a vow to be mine.
I know that vow. It says, till death do us part. You're part of it.
I've come for her.
I won't let you take her.
How can you stop me?
I'll kill you.
How can you kill me?
Our mystery drama, Love Me and Die, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Ann Shepard and Mason Adams. The most important decisions of our lives are usually not based upon careful reasoned study or even on common sense. No, our most vital decisions are often arrived at suddenly, irrationally. Men and women choose each other because of mysterious music in the voice or a sparkle in the eye. You remember the saying, had the nose of the beautiful Helen of Troy sloped outward instead of inward, there never would have been a Trojan War. So, Stephen Barrow wanted Emily Phillips for the same reason Paris wanted Helen. She was the most beautiful woman he ever saw. These things never change.
Happy, darling?
Yes,
It doesn't sound very enthusiastic.
I'm sorry.
Sorry? What a word to use on a wedding night.
What I mean, I'm so afraid.
Afraid? Afraid of what?
I'm so afraid this is all a dream.
Oh, no. No, dear, it's real enough.
Oh, Steve, I want to be happy, darling.
And you will be, Emily. You and I, we are going to be the two happiest people in all the world.
Do you mean that, Steve?
Of course I mean it. Now, what's troubling you?
Bert,
Say it. What?
I'm thinking of Bert. I shouldn't be, I know, but I was married to Bert once.
Yes, dear, you were. You were. Bert he's gone. Forgotten. Will you listen to me? What kind of talk is this on our honeymoon?
Steve, you really are so wonderful.
Oh, of course I am.
And you'll just have to put up with me sometimes when I get into these moods.
Now, you're not going to have time for moods. We spend the night here at the motel. Tomorrow the plane for New York. 3 days in the big town, and then we fly to London.
Is it true? Are we really going?
Why do you keep asking if these things are true?
I find it so hard to believe that good things are going to happen to me at last.
Only good things from now on.
Oh, I love you. I love you so much.
Let me tell you why you're going to have a deliriously happy married life.
Why?
Because you're one woman in a million.
Oh.
You're not actually of this world.
Oh, come on, that isn't true.
You're so, what is the word? You're so ethereal. Yeah, that's probably the word. And you're so fragile, just like the delicate and beautiful things that you write poetry about.
When's the last time I told you you were wonderful?
Oh, about 45 seconds ago.
Oh, darling. I feel now that I can write again. I know I can write again.
Hey, where are you going?
I want to look out the window. It's as if I just saw the moon and the stars for the very first time.
Well, now.
Let me tell you something, dearest. Every time you see the moon, the stars, the sun, the sky, it should be as if it were for the first time. Each time there should always be the thrill of discovery. This feeling is how I know I can write again.
That's great.
It's gone. All the misery, the suffering, everything I knew with Bert. His cruelty, his violence, buried with him. He'll never be able to hurt me again.
No, Emily, he's gone.
Finally. I'm free.
What's wrong? Emily, what is it?
Steve, look out the window.
And what?
There, near the swimming pool.
All right, I'm looking.
There. There's a man.
Where?
There, that man standing there.
Darling, there isn't anyone standing.
Looking up this way.
I don't see
He's
anyone.
looking up at our window.
Oh, it has to be your imagination.
No, Steve. There's a man.
No, darling, it's just a shadow cast by the edge. What?
See? He's moving his hand.
I tell you, there's no one
He's
there.
beckoning for me to come.
Darling, it's only your imagination. Now, come away from the window.
I can't move.
Emily, there's no one out there. There's no one at all. Come with me, and I'll prove it.
No. I won't go to him. He'll take me away.
Emily, darling, get hold of you.
Oh, look at him. He's so much bigger than you are. Where are you going? Don't take your arms away.
I only want to pick up the telephone.
Why?
I have to prove something to you, darling. Nobody's there.
Oh, Steve.
Hello, desk. Yeah, look, this is Mr. Barrow in room 118. Listen, the swimming pool and the patio area, it has floodlights, those big lights.
Steve, he's coming closer.
Yeah, could you turn them on, please? No, I know what time it is. This is an emergency. Look, just don't ask questions. Do it, please. Emily, look, the lights. Thanks very much. You see that? It's light all around the patio and the pool. Now, where is that man? The man that you thought you saw?
Where?
It's all lit up. It's as bright as day. There's nobody there. It's deserted, isn't it? So, it was all just your imagination.
But I saw him.
It was like I said, a shadow, and then the lights came on, and it disappeared.
Yes. He disappeared. But just before he did, I saw his face. It was Bert.
It couldn't be.
Darling, I saw him.
Darling, Bert is...
I saw him. It was Bert. With that wide-brimmed floppy hat of his, the khaki trench coat, the boots.
Emily.
Cowboy boots. And you didn't see...
No, dear.
How could you miss him?
You're going to see Dr. Rossman.
Oh, what good will he do?
Look, if it was your imagination, then we have a problem. But if Bert was actually there, then Rossman may have a problem. After all, it was Dr. Rossman who pronounced him...
You sure you saw Bert?
How could I not see him, a man of his size?
Yet Steve saw no one.
No one.
And then, when the pool and patio were flooded with light, suddenly he disappeared? But in that instant you saw his face?
And it was Bert.
No, it wasn't. Because Bert is in his grave.
But I tell you, I saw him.
Emily, you have a guilty conscience about Bert.
Guilty? Why?
Because and you're alive.
But I told you how he treated me.
Yes, but you keep thinking. Perhaps it was your fault. Perhaps if you'd been more patient, more understanding.
Yes, perhaps.
And now, once again, you are married. And on your wedding night, you fear that Bert still feels that he's the bridegroom. And that's why he beckons you to come to him.
Doctor, what can I do?
Place your trust in Steve.
Oh, I do trust.
Your full trust. Don't be afraid that this marriage will also fail. Steve loves you. He wants to protect you. Do you believe it?
Yes, I believe it.
If you really believe it, you don't have to be afraid of Bert anymore.
I'm not afraid. I'm no longer afraid of Bert.
Go on your honeymoon. Be happy with Steve. And you will never see Bert again.
How did it go?
Dr. Rossman was just wonderful.
Really?
I suppose it's because he told me all the things I already knew myself. But deep down...
Such as?
Oh, it's all mixed up, but I think I understand it. Darling, let's order lunch.
If you can dismiss it that easily, great.
I was silly last night.
Yeah. You were also very scared.
Well, it was real enough, but it was an illusion. And now we both must forget it ever happened.
I've already forgotten.
Did you cancel the flight to New York?
No, not yet.
Let's not waste time here. We can eat at the airport.
You mean you feel well enough to go on the trip?
It's over. All the fear, all the worry.
Our bags are packed. We just have to check out.
New York, London, Paris, Rome, here we come.
You folks checking out? I hope you found the service satisfactory.
Oh, everything was fine. Just great.
Name, please. What did you say the name was again?
Barrow. Mr. and Mrs. Stephen Barrow.
Oh, yeah. It'll be under the B's. Here we are. Oh, I got something for you. Sure be mighty glad to see it.
What is it?
We found it for you. Yes, sir, we did.
You found what?
Didn't you the party that called death middle of the night and wanted lights turned up around the pool?
Yeah, but,
We turned them on.
Uh-huh.
So we figured you Must have lost something out there and want to find it, right?
No, the reason we wanted...
So we turned on the lights, but I guess it didn't help any.
As it turned out, it did.
So when the maintenance fellas come on this morning, we asked them to take a sharp look. And they found it for you.
Found what?
It's cufflink.
But what cufflink?
Well, your cufflink. No wonder you're so concerned. It's made out of solid gold.
That's not my cufflink.
Right there, plain as day. It's your initial, Mr. Barrow. That big, bold B.
Well, there must be some mistake.
Well, how could there be a mistake?
Steve, let me see the cufflink.
Emily, it isn't mine.
Steve, let me see. This
Emily, what's wrong?
this belonged... It was Bert's cufflink. I gave it to Bert for a wedding present. Steve, he was here. Bert was here.
It's all very well for the doctor to say it's Emily's imagination which is being fired by things like guilt and remorse and fear. Sure, we can all say that. But how about that gold cufflink with Bert's initial on it? I'll be back shortly with Act 2. From a philosophical point of view, one may express many attitudes toward death. But from a practical perspective, it is difficult, if not impossible, to deny that death is, at the very least, final. The soul may live on forever, but on one thing there has to be universal agreement. The body is gone. Well, last night, Emily Barrow saw her former husband, Bert Phillips. And Bert has been for over 3 years. A ghost? Do ghosts wear gold cufflinks?
Emily, dear, maybe we better not check out just
Oh,
yet.
no. I want to leave here right away.
But the state that you're in...
He's here. I know, Bert's here. We've got to leave.
Yeah. Yes, dear, of course. Now, let's just sit down for a minute. Quietly. That's it. Relax. Now, let's be calm. You say that this is Bert's cufflink? How can you be sure?
Steve, I know.
The store that sold it to you could have had dozens.
I didn't buy it in a
Well,
store.
the jeweler could have made others, and there could have been someone with the initial B.
Steve, I'm terrified.
Darling, there's nothing that should make you as frightened as you are now.
The cufflink. I made it myself.
You what?
I was taking a course in jewelry making. I'd always expressed myself in words. I wanted to see if I could achieve meaning.
All right, I believe you. Now, let's look for the rational explanation.
This cufflink and the mate to it are the only ones of its kind in the world.
I will fight you, dear. You made it. You recognize it. It belonged to Bert. I still say that there is a rational explanation.
No, not for me.
Yes. And you must listen to me. Now, when is the last time that you saw this cufflink?
3 years ago.
You haven't seen it in 3 years.
No.
So, what we must assume is that there was a burglary. The links were stolen.
No.
The thief may have sold them, and by a coincidence, the new owner had stopped at this very hotel.
No, Steve.
I remember you told me that your apartment had been broken into a few years ago. Now, why wouldn't the thief have taken the cufflinks?
Because they weren't in the apartment.
Where were they?
I buried them. With Bert.
You buried them with Bert? Why?
Because they were his. They belonged to him. And he loved them. Bert was here.
Emily, you must get hold of yourself.
He said he'd come back for me.
Who said what?
Bert. He said my place was with him. Forever. He said he'd come back for me. And he's cruel enough to drag me away.
I'm taking you to the doctor.
I've seen the doctor.
What do you want to do?
Maybe it's this place. Maybe there's something about this motel.
How could there be?
Let's get out of here. Oh, darling, please. We can still make the plane to New York. How much time do we have?
Plenty of time to finish your coffee. Feeling better?
Much. It must have been the motel. I remember now, I once spent a night there with Bert. The place has been remodeled, has a new name.
Place can be haunted. Sometimes by a memory.
I think this whole town is haunted for me. It's where Bert and I spent most of our marriage.
Oh, you look so much better now.
I feel so much better. I must have worried you horribly last night.
Yes?
Well, it should teach you a lesson. Don't ever fall in love with a girl at first sight and marry her 2 weeks later without knowing anything about her.
I know everything I need to know. How do you predict these things anyhow? I had a friend who married the girl next door. They knew everything about each other. The marriage lasted 6 months.
Transnational Airlines, flight number 1 for New York LaGuardia
that's
Airport.
us. Flight number 1 to New York.
Let's go.
Yeah.
At gate 16. Your attention, please. Will Mrs. Bert Phillips please report to the airline service desk in the main lobby?
What?
Mrs. Bert Phillips.
Mrs. Bert Phillips. That's me.
No, you are not Mrs. Bert Phillips. You are Mrs. Steve Barrow.
That's how he would page me. He's here.
No, darling.
You said you'd believe me.
And I do, but there can be another Mrs. Bert Phillips.
He's paging me.
Darling, look, if you claim to see him, that's one thing, and I'll cross that bridge with you when we get there. But you simply can't jump at every sound. Now, wait here a minute.
But
No, but nothing. Here, at this phone booth.
why? Why are we...
Now, I want to help you. Emily, pick up that directory. Come on.
All right.
Open it. All right, find the name Phillips. Phillips. All right, now, under B. Look, he wasn't the only Bert Phillips. See, there are 3 Bert Phillipses, 2 Bertrams, and 6 B Phillips. Some of them could be Berts also. See what I mean?
I think so.
Now, come on, we'll miss that plane.
Okay.
Mrs. Bert Phillips, please report to the service desk in the main lobby.
That is not you. 2 hours from now, we'll be in New York. Things will be different. All right, here we are. Gate 6. Guess we'll have to stand online and have our tickets checked. Why don't you sit down? I'll take care of it. What is it?
Over there. By the gate. A very tall man.
Where?
See?
No, I don't see.
There, Steve. He's pointing to me. He's motioning me to come to him.
Emily.
Just the way he did last night.
Emily.
I won't go.
Emily.
I've got to get away from him.
Emily, come back.
No.
Emily.
No.
Emily,
He's
stop.
after us. He's after us.
Emily.
After us.
Stop for a minute.
No, he'll take me away.
I won't let him.
You can't stop him.
Look out for the door. No, Emily, look out. Emily, where are we going?
Taxi! Taxi! Get in quickly. Hurry. Slam the door. Driver, get away from here. As fast as you can, please.
Maybe she'll sleep now.
Dr. Rossman, what am I going to do about it?
I wish I could tell you.
Isn't there any treatment, any medicine?
It all adds up to time, patience, luck. And if this delusion continues, I would suggest she be placed in a sanitarium.
Why?
Because she'll be unable to function in normal surroundings.
Why do you call it a delusion?
What else can I call it?
Well, suppose it's true. Suppose she really did see him.
No, Steve, don't. It isn't good for you to think that way, and it won't help her.
But just suppose she did.
Now, Steve, that's impossible.
You know, you doctors, you think you know everything.
We don't. We know very little. And that very little has to go a long, long way. But what we know, we know.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Listen, this Bert, you knew him. What kind of a guy was he? She never told me very much about him, except that he treated her terribly.
I never met him.
You never? I thought that you had known him all.
Emily came to see me about a year or so ago, quite distressed. She said she was having trouble with him. She said he would even beat her. What she needed was to build up enough nerve to leave him.
Emily happened to mention that you were the doctor who pronounced him unusual for a psychiatrist.
Yes, but I was the doctor at the scene.
What was the scene?
Haven't you ever asked Emily?
Yes, but she can't talk about it.
They owned a cabin on Indian Mountain. Bert was a writer on hunting and fishing, you know.
That's wild country.
The back of their property led to a cliff, a drop of a couple of 100 feet. She was out there one morning, doing some watercolors. He was drunk. They got into an argument. He started towards her, and somehow he lost his footing and fell.
Well, now, why would you be called?
She went to pieces. All she could think of was to telephone me. I came, and I did what I could.
He was killed, wasn't
Instantly. It's a sheer drop right onto the rocks. Well, call me in the morning.
Yeah.
And remember, if this persists, you'll have to think about a definite course of action. Good night.
Night, Doctor. And thank you.
Steve,
Darling, you should be trying to get some sleep.
where are we?
We're at a hotel.
What happened?
We were at the airport,
I remember.
and you thought that you saw Bert.
I did see Bert.
And you became panicky, and you ran away, and I took you to this hotel and called Dr. Rossman.
Oh.
And he gave you a shot.
He doesn't believe I saw Bert.
That's right,
Neither do you.
darling.
Last night you said you could understand me. I need that understanding right now.
Emily, you must be calm.
I don't need someone to tell me to be calm, to relax. I need someone who believes in me.
I believe in you.
Who believes what I tell you. I saw Bert, even though you won't find a shred of evidence. A single cold, hard fact to support me. You must believe me only because you love me. You must believe me because I ask you to believe me. I would believe you.
Emily.
Do you? Do you believe me?
Yes, darling. Yes, I believe you.
Suddenly I feel so sleepy. It's as if a great weight had just been lifted off my shoulders. As if I'd been awakened from some terrible nightmares. I'm not afraid to go back to sleep, Steve. It's been such a hectic day for you, too. Won't you get to bed?
Yeah, I just want to sit here for a minute. Very tired. I'm almost too tired to get up. Let me open the window.
Don't stay up too late.
I won't. Emily, there's one thing that bothers me. Emily? Well, never mind. We can talk about that in the morning. What? Who is it? Who is it? Just a minute. Yes?
Good evening, Steve.
Who are you?
You know who I am. I'm Bert.
It was Dr. Rossman who officially pronounced Bert. So, what's this? The good doctor has an entire array of medical and scientific fact to confirm his findings. Stephen Barrow has only the testimony of his eyes and ears. In the final analysis, you, of course, will have to decide. And I shall present additional evidence for both sides when I return shortly with Act 3. There are those who say that death is the end, and those who say that death is the beginning. Now, however, it seems that we are being faced with death as a continuation. Bert Phillips was killed in an accident, a fall from a cliff. He was properly and officially buried. But here he seems to be standing at the door of the hotel room where his former wife is spending the night with her new husband. Up to now, it was only Emily, frightened and troubled Emily, who had been able to see Bert. But now, is it Steve's turn? Steve sees Bert, sees him plainly, as he stands in the doorway.
Who are you?
I told you. Bert.
You can't be. Then how can you be standing here talking to me?
I don't know. It's enough for me that I'm here.
What do you want?
I want to talk to you. May I come in?
It's a dream. That's what it is. It's a dream.
It may not be.
You admit what are you doing here?
You sent for me.
I sent for you. What are you talking about?
You'll have to figure that out for yourself.
Why would I send for you?
There's an idea forming in the back of your mind. You're not aware of it consciously, and you're going to resist it, but it's the truth.
I still don't know what you want.
I want my wife.
She's my wife.
She had taken a vow to be mine.
That vow says till death do us part. You're parted.
That's just a technicality.
But why do you want Emily?
She belongs with me.
If she's alive, how can you be together?
She won't be alive when I take her.
What do you mean?
I'll have to kill her.
Kill her?
Why not? She killed me.
Yeah, but you died in an accident.
It's her story. What actually happened was that I was standing at the edge of the cliff taking photographs for an article I was writing, and she just pushed me over.
I don't believe it.
You better believe it. Because one day, a year or two from now, she'll have to kill you, too.
Oh, this is a dream.
I need your help.
Why should I help you?
In the long run, I'll be saving your life. You have to convince her to come to the cabin. It's the only place from where I can take her. That's where she killed me.
You can't be serious.
Think about what I told you. Keep asking yourself, why do you see me? You might get the answer if you first ask yourself, why did she see me? Or, better yet, ask her.
Steve?
What?
Oh, you poor darling. Did you fall asleep in that chair?
I guess I did.
I feel so guilty. I had such a wonderful, refreshing sleep. So deep, so restful.
Did I dream?
What are you muttering about?
You said that Bert always wore a big floppy hat and a trench coat and cowboy boots.
Oh, darling, the absolutely last person in this whole world I want to talk about is Bert.
Yeah. Listen.
Bert Phillips, as far as I'm concerned, has never existed.
Emily, tell me something. Why do you think...
Yes, dear?
Nothing.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm starved. Darling, you all right?
Sure. I just had a crazy dream, that's all.
Steve, you sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. What?
You haven't touched a thing.
Oh, I never eat much breakfast. Important thing is that you feel okay.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have this terrible confusion, and then suddenly it's gone. Why it came, you'll never know. How it went, you'll never find out. It's as if someone magically took it away. But it's gone, and that's all that matters. And now, darling, are we ready to resume our honeymoon?
Sure. But we'll have to make some new reservations.
Tell you what, let's not go to New York and then on to Europe.
No, why not?
Well, we've postponed it twice already. Maybe it's a sign that deep down we didn't want to go so far away in the first place. How about Mexico City? Just a few hours away and we can... Steve, are you really all right?
Emily, do you see someone standing by the door?
Where?
Just to the left of the cashier's desk?
No, darling, there's nobody standing.
Must have been my imagination.
Oh, Steve. You've caught it from me, this delusion of seeing people. What did it look like?
I'm not even sure I saw anyone.
Mexico City. How about it?
Yeah, sounds great.
My problem is I don't have a thing to wear for Mexico. Neither do you.
Well, then let's go somewhere else.
No, let's go shopping. I'll meet you back here at the hotel for dinner. and we can make reservations for the morning.
Are you sure that you're up to going by yourself?
Darling, I always shop by myself, and certainly never with a man.
Well, but do you feel well enough?
When I think of how silly I was, or that whole birth business. Well, I've got to get started. See you at dinner, darling.
Hello?
Darling, I hope you did some shopping, too.
Yeah, I picked up a few things.
I'm spending a lot of money.
Well, it's all right.
What are you doing?
I thought I'd take a nap.
That's good, darling. You do that. I'll see you in a little while. Bye.
Why didn't I ask her? Why? Why?
You left your door open. Bad. You should keep the door locked these days.
What do you want?
You didn't ask her.
Ask her what?
You know what.
Were you at the cashier's desk in the coffee shop at breakfast time?
You know I was.
This is a dream.
Dream or reality, what does it matter? You're stuck with me because you believe her. You want to believe her. You love her.
This is getting us nowhere.
I love her, too. I'm a bigger chump than you are. Even after what she did to me, I love her.
And why did you treat her so badly?
Who says I treated her badly?
Everybody.
Who's everybody?
Dr. Rossman, for one.
He never said I mistreated her. He said she told him I abused her.
But you did.
Only because she says so.
Why should she kill you?
For the same reason she'll kill you.
You keep saying that.
Why do you refuse to believe it? It's true.
You can't prove it.
Oh, but I can. The camera will prove it.
What camera?
I told you I was out there taking pictures. She sneaked up behind me and pushed me over the cliff. Her story, she was painting pictures and I was drunk, started beating her, and somehow lost my balance.
Why shouldn't I believe her?
Because she lied. She made her way down the mountain to where I was lying, poured liquor all over me. But she'd forgotten about the camera.
The camera?
That camera. I was so intent on taking my pictures, that's why I didn't hear her. But the camera went over the cliff with me. It broke against the rocks. It came to rest, finally, behind some bushes.
I believe Emily.
Oh, your place I would, too. But the camera, all smashed up, has been lying there 3 years now, in snow, in mud, summer and winter. It's still there. Or what's left of it is still there. Not 20 feet from where I landed.
I said I don't believe you.
She forgot about it or didn't think about it.
In a court of law, that wouldn't prove a thing. That camera could have fallen there at any time.
It's not supposed to prove anything in a court of law. It's supposed to prove something to you.
What do you want me to do?
Bring her to the cabin. To the cliff. I want her.
You think I'm crazy?
Crazy or sane, it doesn't matter to me. Bring her. Let me have her.
No.
She'll kill you.
You keep on saying she'll kill me. Why?
Okay. Ask me the question you're afraid to ask her. Why do you think she saw me?
Because she has a guilty conscience. She feels guilty because she's happy with me.
Does she? Now let's examine that. She feels guilty because she's happy with you. She's so happy with you that on her wedding night she sees me. Shouldn't that prove something?
What could it prove?
She's sorry. Not because she killed me, but because she killed me and wound up with you.
She loves me.
No, she likes you. Why not? You're a nice guy. Most girls like you. But love? That's something else. You're not exciting for Emily the way I was. You're not wild enough for her the way I was. That's why she saw me, Steve. She wants me.
That's a lie.
You can't face it. That's why you didn't ask her.
Ask her what?
Why she saw me on your wedding night.
I'll kill you.
I'm already...
Why do you insist she killed you?
Because I was wise to her. You'll also get wise to her one day. Bring her up to the cabin.
Never.
Scared?
Why should I be scared?
Once she's up there, she'll have to choose between us. And you're scared she'll choose me.
Why do You want to go to the cabin.
I have to do something.
I don't understand. What is there you'd have to do at the cabin?
It concerns Bert.
Bert?
Suppose you see him again.
I don't want to go to the cabin.
You've got to. We have to get rid of Bert.
But I am rid of him.
He may be gone, he may not. But if you can face that cabin and that cliff, then you will destroy him for good.
I haven't been here since he died.
You never told me how it happened.
I was never able to talk about it.
Can you talk about it now?
I was painting. My easel was set up here, right near the edge of the cliff. It's a spectacular view, isn't it?
Yeah.
Careful. Don't stand too close to that edge. He was drunk, more than usual, ugly, bad-tempered. He criticized my work. I paid no attention, and that infuriated him. He lunged at me, and I was terrified. I stepped aside. He stumbled and just fell over. It was awful.
Did you love him?
Oh, no. How could I love him? He was a beast.
Well, then why did you see him on our honeymoon?
I didn't really see him. It was only my imagination.
Why should you even see him in your imagination? Why should there have been room in your mind, your heart, for anyone but me? Wasn't I enough for you?
You were. You are.
Or did you want him? Do you still want him?
He's dead.
He was there at the hotel. I saw him. You wanted me to see him. You made it a test of my love. And so because I love you, I saw him. And that's why I brought you here. So that you can choose between us.
Between who?
Between Bert and me.
How can I, Bert's dead?
Is that the only reason?
Let go of me.
Is it?
Please.
Did you kill Bert?
No!
Tell the truth.
No!
Did you kill him?
Yes!
Why?
Because he laughed at me, at my work, at my poetry, at my painting. He said they're a joke.
Oh, they're not. They're exquisite.
He was right. I'm a phony.
Oh, no, you're wonderful.
No, I'm not. I'm a phony. I'm not wonderful. Nothing about me is wonderful. Bert was right. He said, you're a phony. A poet who never writes poetry. A painter who never paints a picture. Even the cufflinks. Bert made those cufflinks. He knew what I was. He loved me for what I was, and I loved him. But sometimes I got mad enough to kill him. And one day I did.
Oh, Emily, listen. Emily, whatever you've done, I love you.
I don't want you. I want Bert. I need a man like Bert.
Emily, you can't mean any of this. Emily.
Don't come near me.
Emily!
Don't come near me. You know where Bert is now. He's just on the other side of the ledge. Bert.
It's only a dream.
Bert.
Emily!
I'm coming.
Look out, Emily! You'll fall over that ledge!
He's calling me.
There's no one there!
Let go of me.
You're crazy! You'll go over the edge! You'll get killed!
Let go.
Emily!
Bert. Help me.
I can't let you kill yourself!
Bert.
No, Emily!
Make him let go of me.
Oh. Emily! Get away from the ledge!
Bert! I'm coming to you!
The police list it as an accident. The second tragic accident to occur at that beautiful but seemingly fatal spot. What did happen? Once again, we present you with options. We could say, Stephen, consumed with jealousy, killed her. We could say, her guilty conscience killed her. Or we could say, Bert came back to reclaim her. You can make a case for each, and also for me to return in just a few moments. She loves him. He loves her for reasons that defy all understanding. And once they fall in love, the passion can flame for a moment or for all eternity. We dwell on love here because all the other mysteries are slowly yielding to science, to technology. Soon love will be the only mystery left us, besides those you will find here 7 chilling times a week. Our cast included Ann Shepard, Mason Adams, Robert Dryden, and Robert L. Green. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome aboard. I say aboard because this is a train of thoughts. All the dark and demoniacal thoughts that are as old as the beginnings of the human race. If, as the poet said, no man is an island, then is it really true that each member of the human race is somehow interconnected? Does an infinite network of psychic wires actually exist? Or is it possible they have been short-circuited? If we were merely machines, this proposition could be tested. But we are not merely machines. Or are we?
Your whole career can be down the drain.
Let it go.
But there are people who worked for you, sacrificed for you, supported you.
I didn't ask
But
them.
think of the country. You were an important man, a valuable man.
There are other men just as good, better.
But all this for a woman?
Put it any way you like.
But you don't even know if she exists.
I know.
How do you know? Have you seen her? Have you spoken to her?
I tell you I know.
How?
I hear her in my heart. So clearly, so distinctly. I hear her right now. Can't you?
I can't hear a thing.
It's a pity. She's saying she loves me.
Marvin, I'm sorry for you.
Oh, no. I'm the one who's sorry for you.
Our mystery drama, Must Hope Perish, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Hugh Marlowe. It is sponsored in part by Uncle Ben's Long Grain and Wild Rice and Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One. His name is Marvin Hale Prentice. He is a United States Senator. Both his friends and his opponents call him middle-of-the-road Marvin. His friends say that Marvin has a unique ability to see all sides of an issue. His foes insist that Marvin is just too slick to be pinned down. However, just recently, Senator Marvin Hale Prentice has taken a stand. A definite, unqualified stand. It has to do with opening trade relations with the People's Republic of Doriage. The senator is against it. Till now, Marvin Hale Prentice has been a rather obscure senator from one of the less populous states.
But now he is quoted in the papers, profiled in the magazines, talked about on the news broadcasts. Right now, he is the guest on Meet the Country.
At this hour in our nation's history, our thoughts should be directed towards those principles that led to the creation of our own republic. And what are they? Liberty and justice. How then can we strengthen the hand of a tyrannical dictatorship that withholds liberty and denies justice to its own people?
Oh, let me turn it down, will you, Marvin?
There is one person who must be heard from.
Marv, do we have
Let
to
me
listen?
tell you about this person.
Come on, Marvin, kill the sound, huh?
The spirit of a people cannot be stepped upon.
There. That's better. You know, Marv, you do look good on TV. Did the bug bite you?
Which bug?
Oh, which bug indeed. Let's call it Buggers Presidentialis.
Oh, come on, Pop.
Oh, now, you look at your colleagues. Some of them who plan to run. And you say, if it can happen to them, why not me?
Nothing could be further from my mind.
You're talking to old Pop here. I've seen you fellas come and go for over 50 years. One day you look in the mirror and you say, why not me?
Pop, I've never even given it a thought.
But why not you, Marv? All you need is a few breaks, maybe a good issue, and you're riding one right now.
This is a matter of conscience.
That makes it even better.
You are the most completely cynical man in Washington.
Would you believe it, in some circles I'm considered an idealist?
I remember when we were taping this broadcast. Right about here, I say something I'd like you to listen to. Turn up the volume. I'm about to quote someone.
Oh, I hope it's Shakespeare.
Oh, come on, please, Pop.
I say this because Shakespeare's safe and acceptable.
This is important. There's one person called V.K. Creston, whom I quote in just a minute.
Oh, where do you dig these characters up?
I want you to listen to the words of V.K. Creston.
Okay. Who is V.K. Creston?
Nobody knows.
Oh, that's right.
In Doriage and all these dictatorships, people must write in secret. They can't be known. They won't be published. What they write is just passed around from hand to hand on typewritten pieces of paper. Now turn it up. I'm quoting V.K. Creston.
All right.
An unknown native of Doriage reaches out to us. V.K. Creston, who writes, "Millions reach out as if from the darkness of the grave. Here we are the prisoners of practicality. Poetry. Only in poetry is brotherhood mentioned now. And if there be no poetry, we die. Must hope perish." That's it. Shut the set.
Well, that's beyond me.
I feel I know this V.K. Creston.
Marvin, are you all right?
Sure, it sounds crazy. But those words. Okay, what are they? The desperate cry of someone who is even too powerless to fight for freedom.
You know, you've been working too hard.
V.K. Creston is speaking to me directly.
All right, Marvin. I'm only asking how we establish this. That's all.
He and I know each other. There's a bond between us, a mysterious bond. I knew it when I read the first poem in a little book that was smuggled out of the country. It was addressed to me.
You mean your name was on it?
No, my name was in it.
Show me.
What I mean is my initials are in it.
Now you just lost me.
Marvin Hale Prentice, M.H.P. In the poetry, all of Creston's writings, the first line always starts with a word that begins with an M. The second line starts with a word that begins with an H. And the third with a P.
Well, that could be a...
That could be what? Coincidence? Remember what I just quoted over the TV show. The first line begins, millions reach out. There's your M. Second line, here we are prisoners. And the third line, poetry. Only in poetry is, there's the P. And the final three-word sentence, must hope perish. M.H.P. Marvin Hale Prentice. Well...
What do you want me to tell you?
Now, do you know why I feel V.K. Creston's reaching out to me? One man's thoughts reaching out across thousands of miles and touching my own? That's why I'm fighting this trade bill. It's for V.K. Creston.
Marvin, I don't think you should mention it that way to another living soul. This whole business, if the papers caught on to
Oh,
it...
Pop, why don't you just once quit being the wise old man of politics and tell me what you really think?
Oh, I don't know. Thought transference, extrasensory perception. We tend to laugh at all that stuff. But who's really got the answer?
Oh, excuse me, Pop. Hello?
Marvin?
Oh, yes, dear.
Marvin, you didn't come to see me this afternoon?
I know, dear.
But you promised, Marvin. You promised.
I'll be out tomorrow.
Why weren't you here today? They were mean to me again.
I'm sorry, darling. I'll talk to them about it.
I was digging in the garden, and I found an Indian arrowhead.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Do you know the man I was telling you about?
Oh, now, dearest, there's no such person.
Oh, that's what you say.
But there isn't.
You take everyone's part but mine. He was staring at me through the garden gate. You come out here tomorrow, and you'll catch him for me. Promise?
I promise.
You never keep any of your promises. I never want to see you again.
Dolly.
Well, how is she?
She's not getting any better.
It's going to be a problem for you, Marv.
Oh, stop looking at everything from a political point of view.
Oh, it's just bad luck. You and Dolly had agreed to a parting before this thing came over. But you divorce her now, and there isn't a woman in the country who'd vote for you.
Papa, I have no intention
Okay, I won't say another word.
Good. And as a reward, I'll buy you dinner tonight.
Not a chance. My old lady'd shoot me if I make her spend another night alone. Why don't you come home with me?
No, I've got some work to do.
Marv, you're not the kind of guy who can be alone too much. You need someone.
Pop, did you ever think of writing an advice to the Lovelorn column?
Well, I'd write a good one. Anyhow, Marv, you be careful.
Of what?
Of everything. You're becoming a hot property.
This V.K. Creston. Why do I feel that I know him so well? I haven't the faintest idea who V.K. Creston could be.
Marv, the party is going to decide to approve the trade bill. You know that.
That won't change my mind.
Marvin, you mustn't ever take politics seriously. It'll break your heart.
Well, Major Turner, what have you to report?
Nothing at this time, Your Excellency.
The trade bill?
There is a certain Senator Prentice.
Yes, I know. Why is he so opposed to the bill?
It seems he's made it a personal crusade.
But the administration is in favor. Doesn't he submit to party discipline?
They have strange customs in America. The representatives are permitted to vote as they please.
But what does he have against the bill?
I suppose he's been infected by the writings of this V.K. Creston.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Who is V.K. Creston?
We don't know.
What do you mean you don't know, Major?
We have no idea.
That's ridiculous.
V.K. Creston is obviously a nom de plume.
Yes, of course. But we're familiar with the styles and techniques of most of our writers. We should be able to tell who V.K. Creston is.
What you say, Your Excellency, is true, but obviously V.K. Creston is a new and unknown writer.
Even so, the fellow will have to give himself away.
He's been extremely cautious.
How badly are we being hurt by this Senator Prentice?
Well, Excellency, he's an attractive man, and he has a popular issue.
And what do we have on him?
Nothing.
Nothing? You say he's attractive. No scandal?
We haven't been able to find any.
No women?
He's married, but his wife has been institutionalized. Severe nervous breakdown.
Ah. How long has she been away?
6 months. No one knows when or if she'll be cured.
And he's an attractive man. Let's file that fact for the future.
Marvin, the party isn't trying to put any pressure on you. But most people agree the trade bill is a good thing.
Do they?
Well, on balance, there's a lot to be said for and against. But from a practical, realistic standpoint...
I know all those arguments, Pop. But I want you to listen to this.
Oh, you going to quote me something by your friend V.K. Preston?
Preston.
Okay.
Make a vow to me. Hold my trembling hand. Pray we'll all be free. It's the first 3 lines of a poem. The first word, first line, begins with M. The first word in the second line begins with H. Third line, P. And here's the very last line of the poem. 3 words. The same 3 words. Must hope perish. This is a message. It's meant for me.
Marv, now, you've always been steady, reliable, sensible. Don't start getting cookie. You know what I mean.
I can't help it. And I know how that must sound.
The trouble that you've had with Dolly. She's been a severe strain on both of you. She cracked up in a visible manner, whereas you... Yes, whereas you were off on this psychic communication kick.
There is a psychic communication between us, between B.K. Creston and me.
Do you know what the hometown papers would make out of that?
You can say whatever you like, but I have this feeling, and I don't know where it comes from, that I'm going to meet B.K. Creston not too long from now.
Celeste speaking. Who? That's impossible. If I were to interview every peasant woman who wandered in here, we'll throw her out.
You can't go in Get your filthy hands off of me. Anybody in there?
Your Excellency,
How dare you burst into my office? Who do you think you are?
I got information.
Well, give it to the proper official at the desk.
And get cheated out of the reward? You think I was born yesterday? All I have to say is I know where you can pick up this V.K. Creston. And when I come back for the reward...
What name? What name did you just say?
Creston.
You know where we can find Creston?
What do you think I'm doing here?
Give me the address.
I will, as soon as I'm written down for the reward. Business should always come first.
She's right, this rather uninhibited lady. Business should always come first. We, too, have a little business that must be transacted. And then we will join the police of the People's Republic of Doriage and meet the elusive, mysterious V.K. Creston. And that will happen when I return in just a few moments with Act 2. Hearts and hands across the sea. What does a revolutionary and unknown poet from a troubled Central European country have in common with a senator from a Western state? They have never met. They were never aware of each other's existence. So why should the senator become convinced that the poet was writing poetic messages specifically for him? Or could it just be the senator's imagination? Right now, the poet has trouble enough and to spare. The police are closing in.
You'll get your reward.
Write down my name. It's Hira Colasso.
Very well.
You must have heard of my husband, Tarek Colasso. He used to be a star soccer player.
Yeah, now, where can we find V.K. Creston?
The reason we need the money, you see, is he broke his leg in the championships 10 years ago. Well, we had the extra room, and we've been taken in boarders.
Yes.
But this is important, because it's how we knew our latest boarder is this V.K. Creston.
Well?
Well, this one's a typist and does extra work at home. Well, you know how the inflation's killing everybody. You gotta work day and night.
Will you get to the point?
Well, like I said, this one types, and, well, you know, they
they make mistakes. And, well, see, I'm emptying out the garbage cans, and I find these crumpled sheets of paper.
Ah.
Here, read that.
Must hope perish. V.K. Creston.
It's a shame. Such a nice, quiet, pretty little girl, too. Can't be more than 25.
A girl? Did you say V.K. Creston is a girl?
Hello?
Pop, it's me, Marvin.
Marvin, do you know what time it is?
Pop, I'm sorry I woke you, but I just couldn't sleep.
Why, what's wrong?
I had the strangest feeling. You'll think I'm crazy.
I think you're crazy anyhow, so what is it?
Creston.
Did you call me up at this hour of the night to talk about Creston?
Maybe it's just a dream, but I'm sure that V.K. Creston has been arrested.
Yes?
What is there we can do about it?
What is there we can do about it? Marvin, that's the internal affairs of another country.
Oh, come on. You've been around. You know where the wheels turn.
No, there's absolutely nothing I can do.
Oh, Pop, please try.
But how do you know? All you've told me is you've had a dream. How do you know?
I know, Pop. I know.
Well, Citizen Creston, it's an honor to meet such a celebrated literary figure. And what do you have to say for yourself? Nothing? You have quite a bit to say, however, in this treasonous poetry that flows in such a poisonous stream from your typewriter. V.K. Creston, Valerie Catherine, not Creston, but Starrick. Oh, that struck a nerve. You thought we wouldn't be able to find out. So, what shall we do with you, Valerie Catherine? We could have you shot, or hanged, or sent away to a labor camp for corrective therapy.
Do your worst.
Oh, she speaks. Such a beautiful voice.
I'm not afraid.
Yes, that's your problem. You're not afraid. If you were intelligent instead of merely talented, you'd be smart enough to be afraid, and you'd never have gotten into this scrape to begin with.
I don't care what you do with me.
Yes. Spare me, please. You're willing to die for freedom and justice.
You may kill me.
Yes,
but
yes, I know. But what I believe in shall endure forever. This is the romantic, revolutionary nonsense of youth. I was young once myself.
A pity you live to grow older.
We are willing to consider your exercises on the typewriter as childish nonsense.
Then why do you fear them?
You're a grown woman, and the toys of childhood must be put away, finally. And I have for you a woman's assignment.
What makes you think I would even...
Only a child interrupts. You'll be sent to prison. Miraculously, you will escape. Across the border, and you will present yourself at the American consulate and ask for asylum. Well, now, don't look at me as though I were a madman. I know what I'm saying. In America, you will meet a senator named Prentice. He's quite impressed with your writings. And looking at you, I can tell that he'll be quite impressed with you. It should be easy for you to become more than just a friend.
My answer is no.
Oh, you do it.
I'll die first.
What is this talk about dying?
It isn't just talk. Do you think I'm afraid?
Here we have this fear business again. My girl, depend on it. You'll do as you're told.
Never.
Well, we could stay here and bandy words all day long, but one brief experience is worth a lifetime of discussion. Major, have the car ready. We're taking a short trip.
I don't care how long you keep me here.
And we don't intend to keep you here at all. Don't you want to visit your father?
Father? What do you want with my father? My father didn't do anything.
Oh, that's not true. He had a daughter. And she's giving us trouble. God! We'll wait outside.
Father!
Huh? What? Is it? Oh, it's you, Valerie.
Father, what did they say?
It is all a mistake. I was in my laboratory and the police came. And now here I am. It is a mistake. I'm sure they will check the records.
What happened to your forehead?
One of the police officers was young and impatient. It really was my own fault. I should not have objected.
How long have you been here?
What? I don't know. I was in the lab, and then I was here a while. Isn't that nice of them? And they let you come. How are you, my child?
I'm fine.
That's good. I hope you are not talking against the government. There is no point to it. It just arouses passions and anger. And the mind should be clear for thinking.
Yes, Father.
And I can think here just as well as any place else. Besides, I won't stay here too long. They are bound to find out it has been a mistake. And then they will let me go. I will be free soon.
Yes, Father. You'll be free soon.
Sorry I'm late.
Well, there's a committee meeting. We'll have to hurry through lunch. I've already ordered for you.
Thanks.
I know you like to kid around with that red-headed waitress. What's her name?
Caroline, and I don't kid around with her.
Oh, you think you don't. Dolly's been away for months.
What are you building, Pop? I haven't even thought about another woman.
You've been doing nothing but think about another woman for 2 weeks now. By your own admission, you even dream about her.
When did I ever admit that
I can name the woman.
I wish you would.
V.K. Creston.
V.K. Creston?
Or, if you prefer, Valerie Catherine Creston.
V.K. Creston is a woman?
You knew it all the time.
How can you say that?
Because it's true. Oh, maybe you weren't aware of it consciously. Talk about psychic communication. Oh, nothing like a little to clear the wire.
Pop, never in my wildest imaginings.
Oh, sure.
I believe that we shouldn't have a trade bill with a country like Doriage. And the writings of a certain V.K. Creston helped me to clarify my position. That's all. But how do you know? How did you find out that she was a woman?
Well, you were told about it psychically a few nights ago.
Oh, come on, Pop, lay off.
Didn't you dream she was arrested?
You mean she was?
That's right.
Pop, I want to set up a meeting with someone at the State Department.
All right, relax. It's been fixed. She's escaped. She got across the border, and she applied for asylum at our embassy.
Where is she now?
In a plane headed for Washington. Hey, where are you going?
To the airport.
You want to sit down, have lunch, and don't go to the airport.
Why not?
I've seen her picture. She's too good looking.
Oh, what does that have to do with...
Papers, the TV cameras will be there.
So what?
So you're a hero to her. Suppose she throws her arms around you and kisses you.
I don't think she'll...
That's right. That's why you got me. I think. Now, people know about your wife, Marvin. They see a cozy two-shot of you and a good-looking dame, and...
I think that's ridiculous.
It's also politics. Now, why don't we arrange for this historic confrontation in the privacy of your office.
And, what are your plans, Miss Creston?
Oh, please. Call me Valerie Catherine.
Oh, yes, of course.
I'll need a job.
Oh, yes, well, would you like a job in my office?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
I need someone on my research staff, someone who knows foreign affairs.
Not only my country, but I, myself, will have reason to be grateful to you, Senator.
Marvin, we're all very informal around here. Tell me, Valerie Catherine, were you trying to...
Yes?
The first word in each line of your poetry seems to create a pattern where it forms my initials. Here, I have one of your poems. See how it keeps forming the letters MHP?
But I never knew you.
And I never knew you.
So how could I...
But you did. Maybe we were looking for each other. I know I've been seeking, searching, hoping. Have you?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Valerie Catherine. What a lovely name. I want to tell you something. I don't have the right to say this, but I love you. I've always loved you.
I've always loved you.
I don't understand it. I don't know how it came about. And I don't want to know.
Hello?
Good evening. Are you alone?
Who is this?
You know who this is. Celeste.
What do you want?
I've had myself transferred to our embassy here. I want to keep an eye on you. So far, so good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You work in his office. You have your own apartment. He visits you regularly.
Please, leave me alone.
What does that mean?
He's a wonderful human being, and I love him.
Oh, that should make your job easier.
What job? What am I supposed to be doing?
Exactly what you're doing now.
Marvin, you're seeing too much of that girl.
It's my own affair.
You see? Subconsciously you use the right word. Affair.
Pop, we're in love.
You are also a married man.
Dolly and I haven't lived together for years.
We're very much in love with Dolly. You still are.
I'm not. It's over.
You've missed her.
I don't want to discuss it. Man has a right to his privacy.
Oh, you've been discreet so far. You haven't been seen in public. But you know the reporters in this town, nothing escapes them for too long.
Yes, I know.
Dolly went off the deep end because she couldn't get used to the idea of your importance and the demands on your time.
I don't want to talk about Dolly.
Well, do you want a woman you can hide somewhere and visit just as your schedule permits?
You don't know how far off base you are, Pop. I need this girl.
Marv, I wouldn't care if you were just another politician. But you're not. You could go all the way. Now, don't throw away the main chance. Don't give up everything because...
Well, I guess that's how you know you're in love. I am willing to give up everything.
Everything. In poetry, it's all very well to say the world is well lost for love. But is it? Men have given up all the world for love, and that's usually the last we know about them. Have they regretted it? Who knows? If we are unable to feel another's pain, how can we hope to partake in his delight? Senator Prentice will or will not give up the world when I return in just a few moments with Act 3. His name
name is Marvin Hale Prentice. She is Valerie Clinton. Until a few months ago, neither was aware of the other. How could they be? She was an underground poet in a Central European dictatorship. He, a United States senator. And yet, it seemed as if every thought in her mind was directed at him. How? Why? Does it matter? Right now, they're very much aware of each other, very much attracted to each other. And if the situation is fraught with peril, as some people might put it, well, love laughs at tomorrow. After all, love always burns brightest today.
I want to know everything about you.
Oh, no. My life has been dull compared to yours.
No. I see what you do in your job. It's exciting.
It's safe. It has no real challenges. You live with danger every day.
I don't recommend it, Marvin.
To risk arrest every day, to fight against odds.
Please, you mustn't make a heroine out of me.
But you are. You're the most exciting woman I've ever met.
But you do have a wife.
Yes, Dolly. I knew about you before we met. Did you know about me?
I must have known about you. There was a name somewhere in my mind. I didn't know the name, but it was there. It must have been there. Just as so many thoughts remain just beyond the edge of our understanding. But this name struggled to reveal itself to me. And the initials came forth.
What's to become of us?
Oh, I have yet to learn how to live with thoughts of tomorrow.
We'll have a tomorrow. I intend to divorce my wife, marry you, and retire from public life.
Oh, no.
Why not?
I can't let you give up everything for me.
What am I giving up? All I want is you.
Perhaps we shouldn't see each other again.
What are you saying?
I can't understand why.
You know, you're the strangest girl I ever met. Everything about us. It's so hard to understand. And yet, it's so simple. I only know that I love you. Do you love me?
Yes. But
once you say yes, you don't have to say but. Hello?
Marvin.
What is it, Pop?
I have to see you.
Why?
Well, I'd rather not say on the phone. Will you be there for half an hour?
No, I have to go see Dolly.
Dolly?
Yes, I want to see if I can get through to her. See if I can make her understand that the two of us are finished.
No, Marvin, don't do anything just yet.
Now, look, Pop, I think I know my own business.
There's something you should know about Valerie.
I know everything I want to know about her.
This could change your attitude.
Nothing could ever change my attitude.
Why not hear me out?
And it's none of your business.
And why not listen and judge?
I'll be home at 5 this afternoon. How are you, Dolly?
Oh, I have a way to go yet, but I finally stopped fighting it.
What were you fighting?
Oh, you know. It's a terrible thing to be a great man's wife. There's so little in it for a woman.
Well, I'm not a great man.
Oh, but you will be in the next few years. I always felt it. I saw it coming before you did. I didn't want to give you up to the world. Well, the doctors may have long and involved names for it, but what I was doing was having tantrums.
Now, Dolly, it's not that simple.
Why isn't it? Of course, if we'd had children.
I'm glad you feel this way, Dolly, because I came here to tell you...
You came here to tell me you love me. I know.
But
You don't have to say any more. What you just said is all I need. I'm not out of the woods yet. I have good days and bad. This is one of my better days. Tomorrow might be a disaster.
Dolly, listen.
There isn't all that much to say. With your help, darling, The bad days will become fewer and fewer. And soon they'll be gone for good.
Dolly.
I can't make it back without you. I just can't. I need you, darling. Tell me you love me. Tell me.
I've been asking some questions along the line. Now, Valerie's father is Dr. Royal Starrick, the agricultural scientist.
I know that.
Right after Valerie was arrested, he was arrested.
So?
And right after Valerie escaped, he was released.
All right. What else?
Why is Valerie here?
Because she escaped from prison.
Do you know that in the entire history of the present Doriage government, not one single solitary prisoner ever escaped from their jails?
What are you driving at?
A deal. They say to her, we let it appear that you escaped. Go after Senator Prentice.
Oh, that's crazy.
But of course she doesn't want to do it. I'll say that for her. But they say, do it, or it's Papa who pays. The girl has no choice.
But she loves me.
That doesn't matter. They're spinning a web around you. Can't you see it?
I refuse to believe it.
You refuse to face it. Hey, where are you going? Marvin! Marvin, come back here!
Yes. Yes, it's true.
Oh.
That's what I agreed to do, but when I met you, everything was different.
You what?
I fell in love with you.
Do you expect me to believe it?
Yes, if you love me.
How could you do this to me? I tried to help your country. I believe in what your people are fighting for. I believe it's my fight, too. How could you betray me?
I'm human. It meant saving my father. And when I met you, I fell in love with you. But I've taken care of everything.
I could be ruined.
Everything is taken care of.
What's wrong with you? Why are you so pale?
Because I've taken care of everything.
What does that mean?
It means nothing.
Who are you?
I am Celeste. I'm with the Doriage Embassy. Let me show you why you will not vote against the trade bill.
Just a minute.
Photos of you entering this building and leaving. Photos of you and Miss V.K. Creston here in this room. There's nothing personal in this, believe me. I'm prepared to hand these photos to you or to the press. Tell me my course of action. The choice is yours.
No, the choice is mine.
I don't think you have anything to say.
And I have chosen.
You're a fool. You know what will happen to your father?
My father is... I learned this from the underground.
Valerie, don't. Where'd you get that gun? You can't just shoot him.
I told you. I would take care of everything.
Valerie, don't.
What? That's for me. And that's for my father.
Valerie,
Take the papers.
They'll arrest
you.
you.
The pictures. Leave here. Quickly.
No, I'm staying with you.
You can't because I won't be here. I'll be gone.
Valerie.
It's a little pill. All of us in the underground carry one, and it works quickly, pleasantly.
I'll call a doctor.
No, it's too late. And it was the only way. I said I'd fix everything.
Oh, darling, lie quietly. Maybe I can still call.
Talk to me. Tell me. Answer me. Must hope perish? Must hope perish?
No, my darling. No.
It was a sensation. The great underground poet of the oppressed country who killed the hated minister of justice and then took her own life. The senator? Oh, we may yet hear from him on the national scene, especially since his attractive wife is such a campaign asset. I'll be back in just a moment. Must hope perish? Never. Never as long as there are those who dare to speak and those who are brave enough to listen. And every minute of the day, there are voices, silent voices, calling for help. And sometimes, if we listen closely, we can hear them. Our cast included Hugh Marlowe, Marion Seldes, Ian Martin, E.V. Juster, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Sergeant Clifton.
Oh, Sergeant, I know you people are very busy, and this is probably nothing.
Well, let me judge that, Doctor.
Well, I mean, on the face of it, I wouldn't even think that there's any significance.
Well, you must have some reason for calling me.
Well, you remember, Sergeant, when you were in the hospital and we were listening to the poor old Russian lady? She's no better, I'm afraid.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I remember we were saying how things were interrelated.
Yes?
And that Miss Brody had been in here a week before she died, was killed, because of a severe skin irritation.
Yes, I remember.
Well, she has a roommate, Miss Dora Hastings. Miss Hastings is here now, with the same skin irritation. But does it mean anything? I mean, from a police point of view, or am I wasting your time?
I'll be right there.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Uncle Ben's Long Grain and Wild Rice. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. The CBS Radio Mystery presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. And what is your pleasure this time? Let me fill your cup. 2 icy fingers of terror, add equal parts of mystery and suspense, and top with a dash of the unknown. Settle back and sip. We shall consider the wisdom of the ancient Tibetan sage, Aho-chan. One day a disciple asked, Master, is the book of each man's life written by himself or by the immortal God? And the Holy One replied, by both. The gods write only 2 pages, the first and the last. Man writes all the others himself. And if the Master has spoken truly, perhaps each of us might stop to consider what he has written now and then. Our story this time deals with the page before the last in the book of a young lady's life.
One moment, Sergeant.
Yes, what is it?
I intend to kill you.
What? Put down that pistol.
Well, certainly. After I fired it.
You can't kill a police officer in broad daylight and hope to get away with it.
I'm sure I can.
Just a minute.
Now, it won't do you any good to rush me. I can squeeze this trigger faster than you can move.
Stop!
I don't believe
Our mystery drama, The Weavers of Death, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Mandel Kramer. Here is Eleanor Brody walking down the street on a quiet, sunny Saturday morning, on her way to Frank's Market to buy a packet of special British breakfast tea. Golden-haired, green-eyed, willowy Eleanor,
You'd never take her for 32. She looks at least 10 years younger. But that doesn't matter anymore. She'll never see 33. Tall, attractive Eleanor Brody is about to become a statistic. And as Eleanor enters Frank's market, Frank himself is at the register. Bald and chubby, good-natured Frank. And he's about to become a statistic, too. And, waiting to pay for her purchases, elderly Mrs. August Vesuvius. Soon she will also be a statistic. Look through the window. A car has just pulled up. A thin, very pale young man steps out. His right hand is in his jacket pocket. He is headed for the store. For lack of a better name, let us call him a maker of statistics.
Where's it all going to end, so Frank? I was talking to the minister just last night. He said we'll have to learn how to live on air. For the second Frank, I forgot some chocolate for my little granddaughter. I'll go get it.
All right, hold it. Hold it now. Don't move. It's a stick up. Shut up. Step over to the register there, Baldy. And you, Blondie. Blondie, stand next to her.
Don't say that, please.
Shut up.
I have children. And
I told you to shut your mouth.
He's going to kill us. I can see it in his eyes. Murderous. I'm justice. Oh, Mr. Oh, Mr.
Shut up. Hold it up.
No, we got nothing on it. It was a stick-up, and it's a new breed of punk. The old-time guys, they'd at least let you live. These crumbs, you don't give them the money, they kill you. You do give them the money, they kill you. I know you gotta print something, but well, you can't squeeze blood out of a stone. When I get something, I'll give you something. Well, look who's here.
Hello, Captain Gordon.
Bobby Clifton. What are you doing in this place? It's only for detectives.
You want to see my badge?
How are things in the youth section?
Artie, I want you to give me a temporary transfer back to homicide.
Why?
Those grocery store killings this morning.
Yeah? What would you want with that?
I knew the girl. I knew Eleanor Brody.
Yeah?
We went to school together. It was 10 years ago. We were, well, sort of engaged.
What does that mean, sort of?
It didn't work out.
Oh, why?
Why? I wanted to be a cop, and she couldn't see it.
I've been married 25 years, and my wife still can't.
Anyway, we decided to break up.
You mean she did?
Mm-hmm. And I never saw her again. But it was yesterday, Friday. I got a phone call. She called me just like that.
Just like that?
It was as if we'd seen each other the day before. She said, Bobby, I must talk to you. Come over to my place tomorrow morning and we'll have breakfast.
That would have been this morning.
Yeah.
So?
Well, I got mad. It was the way she said it, I guess, as if nothing had happened. Like, drop whatever you're doing and come running just because I snapped my fingers.
Oh, that's how they are, Bobby.
So I said I happened to be tied up, and she said, never mind, forget it.
I'm sorry, Bobby.
It took me nearly all this time to get over her. And I wasn't going to start... Well, I guess I never really got over her. Anyhow, this morning I set out for her apartment. There on the corner I saw the squad cars. Artie, I want to work on this case.
What's to work on, Bobby? Some nervous punk gets trigger happy. Where do you find it? You don't. And one day some hood who faces a rap makes a deal for himself by blowing the whistle on a pal.
I want to work on the case, Artie.
I know. You figured if you'd gone there when she asked you, she'd be alive now. And so it's a whole guilty thing.
I should have gone to see her when she called me.
Bobby, it's not going to help.
I keep thinking about that phone call. She sounded scared.
You're building it up in your head.
She was scared of something. She said, I must talk to you. Not I want to or I'd like to, but I must. Now, why did she say must?
Because she figures she overlooked a good bet 10 years ago.
Artie, I failed her. You have got to let me work on the case.
Work on what? There's nothing to go on. No witnesses, nothing.
Why do you insist that it was an ordinary pickup?
What else could it be?
Suppose it was something else.
Like what?
Artie, let me work on
it. All right, but don't get in anybody's way.
The old lady, Mrs. Olga Stopfield. I understand she's still alive. this about.
All right. I'll go to the hospital and see her.
Nobody can see her. She's in intensive care.
I'll see her.
I know, Sergeant, this is important for the police, but the patient can't see anyone.
Doctor, she doesn't have to see me. I just want to see her.
You mean you just want to look at her? Why?
The nurse says she keeps muttering something. Now, perhaps I can catch a word or two.
Oh, all right. As long as she isn't disturbed. Funny how things are interrelated, Sergeant.
What's that, Doctor?
These two women, the young one who died and Mrs. Stockfield, who may not live out the day. Now, the younger one, Miss Brody, her name was, she was here about a week ago.
What for?
It was midnight. She couldn't reach her own doctor, so she came to emergency.
Why?
Well, it seems she had a very severe, serious skin irritation all over her arms and back.
What caused it?
I don't know. She didn't want to save the pet, so we gave her something for superficial relief. She probably consulted her own physician the next day. Here she is, in the hospital again. This time in the morgue. Oh, you want to see Mrs. Stockfield? Well, what do you make of that?
She seems to be trying to say something.
Poor woman. She can't seem to form the word.
Maybe not the English word, but the foreign language.
It doesn't sound like anything at all to me.
Her name is Stasiuk. Olga Stasiuk. Now, it could be Russian or Polish. Doctor, I've got to come back here again with a tape recorder.
You better hurry. She's getting weaker.
So, what does all that give you?
It's Russian, Artie. Russian.
What does that mean?
Look, there's an Orthodox church around the corner. Turns out to be her church. The priest says the tape is hard to understand, that he can make out some of it.
Well, what's she saying?
She's trying to describe a killer. That word, ubitsa, or something like that, that means assassin, murderer. And he could be an albino.
What?
She uses the word for pink, a word like horosadi, in connection with eyes and hair. And there's one key word, Calvin, I think. It could either be the killer's name...
Well, are there any local punks named Calvin?
Or, more likely, it's the Russian word Kalbin or Halbin, which means albino, or a guy with real light-colored hair and eyes.
White.
That's right. Whitey Barrows.
It can't be.
Why not?
Because, as far as we know, Whitey's a hitman for some of the biggest mobs. He gets 20, 30 grand a contract.
This holdup could have been a contract.
Oh, a little grocery store keeper? Your ex-girlfriend? This elderly Russian lady? To whom are they worth 20, 30 grand?
Look, if it wasn't a contract, what was Whitey doing in on it?
You know the terrible thing here? This Whitey, this $1 million killer, he can just be walking along the street. He needs some loose change. Maybe he's left his money home, so he walks into the first store he sees.
And what's he going to get? $100? Look at how easy he is to describe. He knows he'll have to kill every living soul in the place, all that for $100?
Yeah, Bobby, he would do all that for just $100. That's what we're dealing with. Well, we better pick him up.
Eleanor was in trouble. That's why she called me.
But you don't know that.
Whitey was paid to kill her and to make it look as if she's the accidental victim of an ordinary stick-up. He works it that way. And just killed 2 other people.
Okay, so now you tell me why she was marked and by who.
I don't know.
Maybe she was running around with Whitey and she might have done something he didn't like.
Yes, like what?
I don't know, like what. Maybe like phoning you, for instance.
Yes?
Dora Hastings?
Yes.
I'm a police detective. May I come in?
Oh, of course, please do.
Thank you.
It's about Eleanor, isn't it? I've already talked to some other officers.
You were her roommate?
Yes, I still can't believe it. I mean, here was a girl with everything to live for. The breaks were really starting to come her way.
What breaks?
You name it, all of them. She'd finally broken into the design field. She got that great consulting job with Wainwright.
Yes?
And she was getting married. Yeah, she grew up at last. She figured it was time to put out the torch.
The torch?
Well, some fellow she'd gone to school with years ago. They had an argument over something or other, and that was it. For years, maybe she thought he might call her, but he didn't. Can you believe a thing like that?
Yes.
So she settled for the boss's nephew at Wainwright. Can you imagine settle for Lester Crane? Settle for a guy who has either $30 or $40 million? But that's how she put it. She was one of a kind, that girl.
Tell me, recently, did she seem upset about anything?
Well, yes, I would say so.
Can you tell me what it was?
I don't know. I asked her, and she said it was just nerves.
What reason would there be for nerves, as she put it?
Well, that's what I could never understand. She was sitting on top of the world, yet she was terrified.
Terrified? Pretty strong word.
It is. She was terrified.
But weren't you concerned?
I was. But if she made up her mind not to tell you anything, you couldn't shake her.
Yes, I know.
You know? How would you know that?
Oh, I know girls like that. Now, you have no idea what could have caused her to be so frightened.
No. Besides, does it matter anymore?
Try to remember everything you can about her being frightened. Just how bad was it?
You want to know? Last week, she got up in the middle of the night. She couldn't sleep. She was irritated.
Irritated by what?
Her body was irritated.
What?
You know, you can get skin rashes from nervousness and tension. She called for a cab and went right to the hospital.
And then?
She came back the next morning. She was better. Anyhow, she seemed different.
In what way?
Quiet. She was quieter, calmer. Actually, she would keep muttering the same thing.
What same thing?
I have no idea. It sounded like EL-77.
EL-77? What's that?
I can't figure it out. She just keeps saying it the way people do when something bothers them.
Well, didn't you ask her what it meant?
Well, yes. And she told me right off to forget it.
EL-77?
Well, I don't even know if that's right. It just sounded something like that. Well, yesterday she said, there's only one man in the world who can help me. She was going to call this fellow and ask him to come see her.
Did she say who?
No, I was in the other room when she called him. And I guess he must have turned her down because she said later, it doesn't matter now. And then this morning. Well, I hope I was able to help you.
Help?
Yes. What I told you. Did it help you?
No, Jason. I'm afraid it doesn't help me at all.
How can it help when you know that if you had accepted an old friend's invitation to breakfast, she might still be alive? How does it help to know when it's too late that both your lives might have been different? Was that stick-up merely a covering device for her deliberate murder? I'll return shortly with Act 2. The world should turn on love and understanding. Instead, it seems to be spun by vanity and pride. So many people could prevent so many problems. Indeed, could alter the very shape and direction of their lives if they could only talk freely and openly and honestly at the right time. 10 years ago, obviously, Eleanor Brody and Bob Clifton couldn't do it. And today, she has been killed during what appeared to be a grocery store robbery. And he is the detective investigating the case.
Sit down, Sergeant. I'm sorry to disturb you at a time like this, Mr. Crane.
I understand.
You were Miss Brody's fiancé.
Yes, I was.
Tell me, did she seem to be upset recently?
Upset? Why should she be upset?
Oh, Sergeant, this is my uncle, James Wainwright.
I was told there was a police officer in the house. What can we do for you?
I want to ask a few questions.
No? Why?
Uncle Jim,
It should be obvious why.
It isn't obvious to me, and besides, I didn't ask you. After all, what is there to ask? She was killed in a holdup, wasn't she? Well, wasn't she?
That's right.
Unfortunate coincidence. Past life had nothing to do with it. She would have been killed in any event. Therefore, the police have no reason to pry into the affairs of private citizens. Don't you agree, sir?
Well, perhaps if it were just a holdup.
What do you mean, if? What else could it have been?
A way of covering up her murder?
Serious?
Oh, yes, I am. And that's why I'm here, to ask some questions.
Well, how can we possibly help you?
I don't know.
Well, if this is a fishing expedition, you've come to the wrong stream. I will answer no questions unless my attorney is present.
Uncle Jim, the man is just trying to do his
That's
job.
enough out of you two, Lester.
Mr. Wainwright, I'm investigating a murder. I need information on the background of Miss Brody. It's immaterial to me whether I get my answers here or down at headquarters.
I don't like your attitude. I'll have you know the commissioner's an intimate friend of mine.
Uncle, let's get this over with.
Well, what do you want to know?
Miss Brody, did she seem upset lately? Well?
No. Not at all. Why do you ask?
Her roommate says she was.
Oh. Well, oh. You know women, they get nervous as their wedding day approaches.
I don't mean that kind of nervous. I mean terrified.
Well, yeah, she might have been terrified.
Of what?
Of her approaching responsibility. She was marrying very far above her station in life.
Now, Uncle Jim, you shouldn't talk like that.
Why not? True. She was a poor girl, and my company, which one day will be this young man, has assets of $50 million.
What is your company, sir?
Wainwright Associates.
What does Wainwright Associates do?
You can't be serious.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We import textiles. All kinds of textiles from all over the world.
Yes?
And we sell them to various manufacturers.
I see. And Miss Brody's position? She was a designer. We maintain a design service for many of our clients.
Well, that should end the inquisition.
Tell me, would either of you be aware of a man with a very light complexion, almost no coloring at all?
Why do you ask?
It's important to our investigation.
No, I'm aware of no such person.
Mr. Crane? No?
I have a question.
Yes?
My nephew here, Lester Crane, he gave Miss Brody a great many gifts. Are they recoverable?
Uncle Jim, how can we talk about that now?
These things have to be faced, Lester. Now, Sergeant, what procedure do we follow?
It seemed to me that your attorney could advise you. Those gifts were her property. They belong to her estate.
Well, I'm thinking in particular of things that belong to Wainwright and Company, some designs and clothes, especially a sweater that's a new model.
You'd have to discuss that down at headquarters.
Well, sir, if you have no further questions...
I have no further questions at this time. Yeah, Captain Gordon. Yes, there may be a break on those murders. But so far we got nothing to give out. Look, Charlie, things are rough all over. Bobby, what have you got? Sore feet, Captain. Well, you did want to investigate some murders. Where are we? The roommate says she was scared stiff. Yeah, we had that yesterday. And old Wainwright says she was just normally nervous about getting married. And nobody cares what young Lester says because he doesn't count. Is that how it still adds up? So far. Now, how about Whitey? Whitey is safe and snug and warm in a rat hole somewhere. Well, he can't hide forever. I'll get him if it takes the rest of my life. That's no way for a smart cop to work. There can't be anything personal in it. This whole thing is personal. If I'd had breakfast with her, she'd still be alive. But what does that do to your theory? If she was marked, they would have gotten her another kind. Yeah, homicide, Captain Gordon.
Oh, Captain, this is Justice Sparrow. There's a detective with you who's investigating that grocery store holdup.
Yeah, Sergeant Clifton. Hold on, Doctor. Bobby, it's Dr. Sparrow at General Hospital. Sergeant Clifton.
Oh, Sergeant, I know you people are very busy, and this is probably nothing.
Well, let me judge that, Doctor.
Well, I mean, on the face of it, I wouldn't even think that there's any significance.
Well, you must have some reason for calling me.
Well, you remember, Sergeant, when you were in the hospital and we were listening to this poor old Russian lady? She's no better, Emma.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, I remember we were saying how things were interrelated.
Yes?
And that Miss Brody had been in here a week before she died and was killed because of a severe skin irritation.
Yes, I remember.
Well, she has a roommate, Miss Dora Hastings. Miss Hastings is here now with the same
from a police point of view, or am I wasting your time?
I'll be right there.
Actually, she came in last night. She's much better now. They treated her. She can go home tomorrow.
What caused it, Doctor?
Well, it's a sweater.
A sweater?
Probably the most beautiful sweater I've ever seen. Such brilliant color, lovely design, but...
But what?
Well, there must be something in the dye. It seems to have a very strong alkali base. It can give a lot of trouble, especially to people with sensitive skin.
Hello, Miss Hastings.
Oh, am I in trouble with the law?
Why should you be in trouble with the law?
For taking the sweater.
I don't know anything about that.
I've been punished enough. Take it back. Put it with all our things. I don't want it.
Why don't you tell me about it?
I knew something would happen to me.
What?
I never stole anything in my life. So the first time I weakened. So what did I take? I didn't try to steal any of her jewelry or anything that was really valuable. I just took the sweater.
The sweater?
Well, who'd miss it or know anything about it? I couldn't resist it. It's so pretty. So look at what happened. My arms. Certain people, and I'm one of them, should never steal. Please, take it back to the apartment.
All right, now you decided to take the sweater.
I wore it when I went shopping and out to dinner. And then a couple of hours later, I felt as if my whole body were on fire. Say, that's what must have happened to Eleanor the night she had to come here. She'd worn the sweater, too.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
And where did she get the sweater?
She brought it home from the office. It's one she designed.
You mind if I take it?
Please.
Hey, Bobby. There's a phone call for you.
From whom?
Well, it was about you. It seems that Wainwright had a court order to go to the Brody girl's place and pick up some designs that belong to the firm.
So?
And so they claim something's missing.
What?
The sweater.
What kind of sweater?
Come on, you know what kind of sweater. The sweater you were supposed to bring back from the hospital. The one that the roommate borrowed.
That sweater?
Where is it?
In my locker?
What kind of game are you playing, Bobby?
They want it back. I'll bring it back.
Bobby, you're trying to pull a fast one, but this Wainwright has got a lot of clout.
Why did they want the sweater?
Because it's their property.
Sure, but when I was at the house, the old man started a song and dance about recovering some gifts and stuff. It was all a cover.
For what?
For the sweater.
Why would they want that sweater? Huh? From what I hear, it's already given two girls fits. There is a hard luck sweater. Still, they want it and it belongs to them. So
I'll bring it back.
Bobby, do I know everything that's going on?
No. You only know as much as I do.
You'll personally hand-deliver that sweater?
Of course.
Yes?
I'd like to see Mr. Lester Crane. Police?
Oh, wow. You don't look like a cop.
No, why not?
She's cute.
Did you know Eleanor Brody, Miss,
Carter. Melba Carter.
Miss Carter?
Oh, sure. We both come here about the same week 9 years ago. We both sat at the same desk. She went out all the way up. She even left the boss's nephew.
Tell me, did she seem nervous lately?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry to say I was so jealous of her I couldn't really see straight. Poor kid, what good did it do her?
Did some man ever come around to see her, a man with a very light complexion?
A guy? He? Oh, no. Why would she want to ruin the world's greatest setup? There was a guy on the side. He was kept out of sight.
Would you tell Mr. Crane that I'm here, please?
Don't you want to ask me any more questions?
Maybe later.
Thank you, Sergeant.
It's a beautiful sweater. I've never seen such brilliant colors and the design.
Yes, well, it's...
I'm sorry there was this misunderstanding. I had intended to return it on my way to work.
It's all right. Look, I want to apologize for my uncle. He lives in a world of his own.
I understand.
He belongs to another time, another place.
Mm-hmm. You were Eleanor's fiancé.
What did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just thinking out loud.
Yes, I was her fiancé, and, I owed her so much. You see, because of her, I stood up to my uncle. He was opposed to our getting married.
Why?
Why?
He wouldn't need a reason. He's so contrary. And, well, I always yielded to his judgment, but not this time. Yes.
Miss Green, there's been an inquiry concerning EL-77.
EL-77?
And you told me that...
EL-77?
And you told me you'd handle everything there yourself, so I...
Place that call on hold, and I'll pick it up very soon. Sergeant, is there anything else you want to know? I have some very important things.
No, I've taken up enough of your time. Goodbye, Mr. Crane.
EL-77. Once again, a combination of letters and numbers. And what do they mean? One thing is certain. They have the power to make people nervous. First, Eleanor Brody. And now, Lester Crane. EL-77. A simple arrangement of innocent-looking letters and numbers. Well, any arrangement of letters and numbers can look innocent. Consider E equals MC squared. I'll be back, hopefully in just a few moments with Act 2. As the poet said, the saddest words of tongue and pen are these: it might have been. Bob Clifton thinks of what might have been with Eleanor Brody. 10 years ago, they were too proud, too immature perhaps, to know how to make love endure. Now the only thing that Bob can do for Eleanor is try to bring her killer to justice.
No, Bob.
Why not?
Because you can get into more trouble than you ever thought existed.
Is that all you ever think about, getting into trouble?
Besides, it's wrong.
Why? Why is it wrong?
Because, Bobby, you propose to use a human decoy. That girl can be killed.
How? If we have it staked out, all we want him to do is show himself, then we bag him.
On what charge?
He's been identified as the killer in the grocery store holdup.
How? And by whom? The old lady died last night. What you got on there is delirious mumblings on a tape recorder. Come on. A smart lawyer could kill it. He's got to do more than just show himself. He has to come after her. We have to prove intent to murder.
What do you want? The smoking pistol? By then it's too late.
Not the smoking pistol, but the pistol. He has to be caught in the act of trying to gun her down. And that's cutting it too close.
Not if we have him covered.
It's too risky. Too much can go wrong.
It's the only way.
Bobby, I don't want to hear any more about it.
You don't have to do it, Miss Hastings.
But I want to.
It could be very dangerous.
I don't care. It's the least I can do for Eleanor.
I shouldn't ask you to do it either. It's just that I have to get that killer.
I understand.
Let me make a confession, Miss Hastings.
You don't have to.
I'm the man Eleanor spoke to last Friday.
I knew that.
You knew? How?
Oh, woman's intuition, maybe. But you had to be the man. Do you want me to make that call now?
Yes. And say exactly what I told you.
Hello?
Mr. Wainwright?
Yes?
Mr. Wainwright, I have a talk.
Who are you?
I have certain information
What is this?
concerning EL-77.
What? What did you think?
You heard what I said.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Make me an offer.
Offer? To do what?
Well, not to go to the police, for instance.
Oh, I see. Is that how it is?
Yes, that's how it is.
Well, let me think about it.
You don't have any time. I'm leaving the country tonight. I'd like to travel first class, if you know what I mean. See you in an hour,
Could you make that 2 hours?
but no longer.
And, the address?
18 Stevens Court.
Sounds familiar.
It should. I'm her roommate.
Anyone moving up the street?
Not yet. Are you sure this is the only entrance to the building?
Yes, he couldn't get in any other way.
All right.
have to come up the street. Walk in the front door. Come up the stairs, knock on your door. Now, don't stand near the doorway. He might shoot through it. Leave the door unlocked. When he knocks, you say, "Come in, it's open." When he walks in, I'll be ready for him. And keep out of sight.
Look, down the street. Is that someone coming?
Stand by the side of the window. If that's our boy, don't let him see you.
I know Mr. Wainwright. It isn't him.
No, it wouldn't be Mr. Wainwright. It would be an employee of his. Can't see too well in this dark, but I'm sure that
It's who?
the man who killed Eleanor.
So quiet. You can almost hear his footsteps. Wait. There are men getting out of those cars. Look.
Hold it, Whitey! Freeze! Artie, what are you doing here? What am I doing here? I had the place staked out. Why? To save your neck. I knew you'd try to get Whitey to show himself. I wasn't going to let him come up to the apartment. But you killed him. How can we tie him to Wainwright? Bobby, it was the only thing we could do.
Well, hello.
Oh, you're the cop who called on Mr. Crane, the cute one. Is everything squared away?
Yes, I guess so. I was headed for your office.
Oh, so am I.
But maybe you could do something for me.
Well, why not?
This is a package of some papers that we found in Miss Brody's apartment. Now, some of them look like business things, and we want to return them to the company. Could you save me the trip?
Okay. It's a nice day for walks, though, isn't it?
I don't even know if they're important, but I figured perhaps...
What's the average cop do on his day off?
Now, some of them are just notes, and there's a number that I noticed. It says EL77. What does EL77 mean?
It's a lot number.
A lot?
Yeah, it would mean the European lot EL, and the number 77 means 7.7 million yards.
That's quite a number of yards.
Yeah, pretty good size, even for us. It's a hush-hush thing.
What do you mean?
I don't know. The only people who know anything about it are Lester Crane and the old man.
Well, where is it?
Where? The warehouse, I guess. Do you work every day in the week?
But thank you very much, and this is a favor. Bye.
Hey, come back here. You forgot... He wants me to deliver a package, and he forgets to give me the package. Some cop. Cute, though.
I'm sorry to bother you again, Doctor.
Oh, it's all right.
That sweater, the one Miss Hastings wore, and we know now that Miss Brody wore it, too. You said something about the dye.
Yes, I sent a few strands to the lab. We have a very extensive allergy clinic here. It's a very good wool, but I'm afraid it's ruined for any kind of wear.
Why?
The dye. It's a strange one, probably foreign. It isn't any of the known dyes used here. It's a very strong alkali content.
If the manufacturer knew the dye had such a strong irritant quality, why would he use it?
Maybe he didn't know, or maybe he thought he could get away with it.
Doctor, suppose you knew where a whole lot of this material was. What would happen to it?
Oh, I'm sure it could be condemned. Any federal, state, or city health department or Bureau of Standards would take it right off the market.
Thank you, Doctor.
Do you think this sweater has to do with those murders?
I don't mind telling you, Sergeant, I'm not in the habit of receiving the police at this hour of the night.
I'm here on official business, Mr. Wainwright.
Indeed. Well, then why not conduct it during business hours?
I have here a few strands of a wool material.
Where did you get that?
From a certain sweater.
Oh, what's that to me?
This sweater was a sample. It was to be duplicated and sent out to Wainwright customers to show the brilliant colors that were a part of a certain imported lot.
How dare you pry into the business of my company?
European lot 77. The dye in it makes the material unfit for human clothing.
That is a lie.
Is it? If inspectors were to examine lot number 77 in your warehouse, Mr. Wainwright, what would happen?
Excuse me, I have a document here in my desk which will explain everything. See now. Yes, here it is. All right, put up your hand. No, don't reach for your gun.
You can't get away with it.
Well, I'll just have to.
Uncle Jim, what do you do?
Lester, he has a gun in his belt holster. Reach around. Get it. I warn you, Sergeant. Don't try anything.
But
just do as I tell you. Want to go bankrupt and in jail? Just remove it. Now hold on to that gun.
Oh,
What are you going to do with him?
Kill him.
Oh, no!
I just explained the alternative.
That's right, Lester. He has to kill me just as he killed Eleanor.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, he didn't kill her. He hired a thug to do it.
No, she was killed in a holdup.
In what looked like a holdup. You see, she knew about EL-77 too, and she wanted you to destroy it.
I know, but how could we do that, huh? We would have lost millions.
She said she'd go to the police, didn't she?
No, she only said she'd break the engagement.
But your uncle could have trusted her.
Lester, we're wasting time.
You can't keep killing people, Mr. Wainwright.
Uncle Jim, there can't be any killing.
There's already been killing. Your uncle had Eleanor murdered.
Don't listen to him.
Sergeant, look, we have to get rid of that clock. It's wrong, I know, but if we don't, we'll go broke. Eleanor couldn't understand that. So she walked out on me. But she would have come back afterward, except that she was killed in that store.
No. Wainwright killed her. He knew she'd turn you in.
Don't you see what he's trying to do?
What? Why do we have to kill him?
What else is there?
Why can't we have an understanding? Sergeant, there's a way out of this. There must be.
No. The only way is for me to take Mr. Wainwright and book him for the murder of Eleanor Brody.
And you're going to let him do that?
I can.
Go ahead, Lester. Ask him. Ask him if he killed her.
Uncle, did you?
What else could be done, you fool? We'd have all gone to the jailhouse first and the poorhouse second.
Did you kill her?
Yes, I killed her. I hired a man to kill her. I had to. You weren't man enough to kill her yourself.
You killed her!
Lester!
My uncle?
Brady.
I hope I die, too.
I'll call an ambulance.
Please. I have to tell you this first. I just shot him to prove something to you.
To me? Why?
Because she told me everything about her past. That she'd always been in love with a man named Bobby Clifton. That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's me.
You see, I killed him because she finally made a man out of me. She taught me how to stand up to him. And I did. Didn't I, Bobby?
Yeah. Yes, Lester. You did. The old man is the nephew recovered. Lot EL-77 was destroyed. It would be nice to report that Bobby married Dora Hastings and Lester married Melba, but we're not in business to tie up neat little packages. All we have done is open up the book of someone's life, glanced at a page, and returned it to the shelf, as I shall be returned to you in just a few moments. It is written, every man is a weaver, and on his loom he weaves his life. But the colors and the design are not created by the skill of his hands. Rather do they spring forth from the beauty of his heart. We are also weavers of spells, and we hope you will join us 7 times each week and enjoy our designs. Our cast included Mandel Kramer, Bob Caliban, Joe Silver, Bryna Rayburn, and Catherine Byers. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
They're hiding in a cave.
A cave? You must do better than that, my dear.
You pick up the pathway just past our house, and you follow it north for 2 miles. Now you come to a deep ravine. In front of you is what looks like a wall of solid rock.
But it isn't.
No. Because when you climb to the top of it, you will see the entrance to the cave.
Thank you. Sergeant, place her under arrest.
But you said...
I said you'd be rewarded. At this point, I don't know how. If you're lying, a firing squad will give you 30 leaden bullets. If you're truthful, there are 30 silver krona.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Mystery Theater comes to you from CBS Radio and Radio 87 WWL here in New Orleans. Our studio is located in the historic old French Quarter, way down yonder in New Orleans. 8 minutes after 8 o'clock.